All righty, then we are live and back. Welcome, everyone. Let us know the branch of service that you served. Let us know the years that you were in. Feel free to go ahead and share the live. We'll be talking about some cool stuff, sharing stuff. So say what's up in the comment section, and we'll bring up your comments. And let me see here just to make sure I have the comment section up. Awesome. So we actually have you might be missing a face that's not showing up here.
Yes,
Brian
Brian.
is under the weather, so he will be literally on the backside, just
I
kind of
know.
chatting. So we got Brian on that side of the house there. But
Gonna be
welcome.
so weird not having Brian.
I don't know what we're gonna do, so we're gonna have to
Because
figure it out
Brian laughs
somehow.
at all my jokes.
Yeah, yeah, and I don't, so I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
Um, it's not gonna be a good
Brian always
situation.
makes me feel so good about myself.
Well, trust me, that's not my job either.
Thanks.
Um, but we are live. We'll
At
go
least
ahead
I
and
have my
check.
key bear.
Can we introduce who we are first before we go into all this other stuff? You got people watching, don't even know who the heck we are. Welcome everybody to Friday Night Live, our show we do here at VNCC on Fridays. We're talking claims, we're talking vet stuff. We have Reggie in the middle who has obviously his nice fedora hat little situation going on to cover the fact that he doesn't want to feel intimidated by the luscious hair he sees to his left and right. Purposely put there. My name is DP, disabled Army combat veteran, retired federal law enforcement officer, founder of VNCC, and I get to spend some good time with some good people here. So I'll kick it over to Amy to say hello and introduce herself.
Oh, I don't get the cool introduction.
No, no, Brian's not here, so I can't do all that extra stuff here. So all that Amy does
Well,
is
I still
win
have my
and all
microphone.
that good stuff. So
I still have my microphone.
okay,
So I'm Amy. I am Air Force. I was in from 2000 to 2011 as dental, and I did some EM stuff. Got to do a lot of cool stuff while I was in.
that's
Um,
what's up.
I've been in this space for a little over 3 years, loving it. I really enjoy what I do. It's been a blessing for myself and my family, and I am very thankful for everybody that has decided to join us tonight. We're happy to see you guys, and I am sending my thoughts and prayers to Brian, and I hope he's feeling better. But I'm glad he's in the chat. It's not the same without you, Brian. You are
Brian,
missed.
you are somewhat missed.
No, you are missed.
You sure about that? Like on a scale
Yeah,
of miss, like 1 to 10, how much miss?
he's 100.
There you go. So we have
Very
that.
missed.
Um, yeah, let's go ahead and shoot it over to my main man. We got Reggie in the building, coming at us from the Navy side of the house to introduce himself. Let me give him a little name tag so he doesn't feel bad.
So we're about to do a little mic check 1 2 1 2. Like we about to spit some rhymes right now.
Reggie has this old soul syndrome thing where he's. We don't need you to talk. You talk into the mic. I love when Reggie. He's like, "Hello, everybody. I just want to introduce myself very quickly and just say, no, we hear you. You're fine." It's like when you call like your grandma or something like that on FaceTime and they're like, uh-huh. It's like I don't want to see your ear, grandma. Just put it in front of your face. I can see you. That's what's happening.
Uh,
We're doing like Hiram.
Mm-hmm. Look, you about to scare some people. Don't do that.
Oh man, but yeah, my name is Reggie, benefits advisor, um, also slash realtor slash national director of veteran resources. Wear many hats as you see here, and just thankful to be in this space. Been here for pretty much over 2 years now, and just been a phenomenal ride here with Veterans Network. And of course, as you know, we have pretty much the last days left of 2022. So we're going to make the most of it and come with positive spirit and positive vibrations for the new year, because what we do now lays a foundation for 2023. And it's very important that we come about with goodness, laughter, love, cheer, good times, bad times, but most of all, just being grateful. That's the biggest thing. So I'm just grateful to be in a space with Sister Amy, Brother DP, Brian, Hiram,
Oh,
David
wow.
Cecil, Miranda, Maria, Boats, because I'm not going to jack a name up. And that is on my resolution list to get her name right. But I'll say Boats.
Already starting the year off wrong because you ain't gonna get it.
And our admin staff in the background making it do what it do.
And notice how he still made a point to eat the microphone. I love it.
You got
Orbs
to go
all
in.
around.
Reggie, you can back up a little bit so we can see your mustache.
Just a little bit. Don't
Just a
scare
little
the
bit
people.
so we can see your mustache and your lips when you talk.
Let's go ahead and check on some of the comments. See who we have here. We got Eric in the building. Army 85.
Hey,
Appreciate
Aaron.
you. What's going on, brother? If you're watching in different places, you can also jump on over to YouTube. That tends to be a little bit better with the comments sometimes. So just a heads up there. We got Frank in the building. Try to call him. I called you. You called me back. We played some phone tag, but you're here. So you got the email. You got the message.
Yes.
So he is on the
Hey,
way
Frank.
out. What's going on, Frank?
Nice.
Let's see here. We got Brian is still laughing at you. So take that for what it's worth.
Oh, Brian.
We got Dennis in the building. 64
Hey,
to
Dennis.
88. 64
Happy
to 88.
Dennis.
That is crazy. One of our OGs in the building with us. Dennis has been around. He's literally went through the process, and it's just amazing to see him here with us. So, and then of course, Legend in the background because he has to start making noises.
Yes.
Let's see. Carmichael's in the building. Army 94 to 97. Okay, let's go ahead. Yes,
You're welcome.
Yeah. Let's see here. Brian said, yes, DP has the proper. Wish I was there tonight, but I'm here feeling really good with my meds. He is high as a kite.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Let's see. We got Jesse in the building. What is
Hey,
going
Jess.
on?
Congratulations to Jess. She's a new realtor up in New York.
Yeah, she is. Let's see here, and we got. So if you're commenting, like I said, some of these we can't see. Oh, there you go. I know. I don't even. I don't have to see the name of this one, but I know who wrote this. Exactly.
Oh my god! Yes. Hi. Oh my gosh, that's the best.
There you go. See, I knew you know who it was before I even have to say anything.
Yes. Oh my god, I'm so happy she's here. Hi, Patrice. Oh,
So,
I'm so happy she's here.
There you go.
She's
So
the
just a
best.
little heads up action there. Let's see here.
That's crazy. Yeah, we didn't even need to see her name.
We got little. Let's see.
Hey,
little
Legend.
action. There you go. So we call that our little Legicam. So there's a little legend action in the flesh until he decides to run away and says, "Screw all this, I'm out of here." So if you hear some noises, that's definitely him. There. Look at him. So we got Legend in the building. Fly Girl Fly. We know who that is.
I'm so excited
here. Yeah. Man, let's see. We got Elisa in the building. I'm sure is typing this part here from the Facebook group. So let's see. Reggie is. Let me see. Reggie's a Tribe Called Quest member. It was intro 1212 exactly. We got Willie in the building. What is up, my brother? Army 69 to 71. We got Vernon in the building. We're gonna need him for sure to say some prayers because Lord knows we needs it. So our resident NCC chaplain. Let's see here. Happy last day. Let me see here. U.S. Air Force on Vernon side of the house. Let's see. We got my brother from another mother tuning in. What is going on? I'm glad that you jumped on in. You completely lost Amy with all of the talk of Pokemon and cards, but that's neither here nor there.
Yes, but yes, I'm glad that you're here. We are.
Reggie, what the heck? How are you here and also trying to chat? What's going on here?
It's the orbs.
What is the orbs behind you? What is going on here?
Stepping through the astral realm and lucid.
Oh
dreaming.
Lord! See,
look,
Wow.
you know what? I'm gonna just leave you and Amy alone. Let me go check on Legend. Even Legend turned around. He's just like, screw that noise. He's like, what? He's like, oh look, I don't know about all this. So, let's see here as we continue down the uh, comments. Oh, okay, we got one of our favorite individuals in the world. We got Carol in the building as well.
Yes.
So
Happy
happy. Wait a
belated
second.
birthday,
They're
Carol.
like 1 year
She's
ahead. So are
birthday.
they technically in the new year already?
Yeah, are they?
No, this was 1 day, so it's 31st.
New Year's
So they're about
yeah.
to. They're close to.
Yes.
Let's see.
But
Kisses
Carol makes
Wild
it happen.
People. That definitely applies to the guy in the middle. So that's that part. Capri says, "Hey, hi Air Force,
Yes.
fly girl, yeah." Legends partying like it's 1999 with that chew toy. Yeah, he's definitely.
Yes.
No, he's just like screw that. I'm gonna take a nap until he gets out of here. Jonder's in the building. Army 2010 to 2015. Let's see here. We got Len. Oh, what's going on? So we got Pacific Tita. We actually met on TikTok. So fun fact, it's crazy what's going on TikTok. Make these videos. I say random crap, and apparently people tend to pay attention to it. So for the last 2 days, I've been literally responding to everybody losing my thumbs because we're trying some noise over there. But she also is a creator, and she does some amazing thing on her side of the house. She's also military as well, I believe Navy, and also was DHS. Fun fact there. So actually, this will be a cool point to hit on in a few, Amy. But one of the points that we talked about, she made a video about vet bros and the fact that you have veterans that technically it's always like, are you the vet or are you the dependent? What did you do? Did your service matter? Who gives two shits? You're a veteran. Shut the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
literally, people online get so crazy. So she's been out there literally whacking people in the face and, doing some business. So I'm glad to see you here. Yeah. Let's see as I continue down the. We got Rich in the building. Much love, family, Army, MP, 95 to 2005.
Hey, Rich.
Heyo. Let's see here.
Rich.
Oh, wait a second. So this is gonna piss the living heck out of someone here. So Legend's like, where is he? He's out of here. And Legend's like, all right, I'm out. See you later. He'll be back later. Coming at us from an Android device because she is definitely one of the most faithful people that we have that tunes on in and supports us. We call her Lisa number 2 sometimes for many reasons. Fact of the matter is we have Lisa Chaser in the building.
Hey, Lisa.
Now Amy's mad because she didn't get an intro. See her?
It's fine. It's whatever.
Literally, he's throwing rocks.
Used to the abuse.
Well, look, it's the only way we can feel alive.
But I thought it was going to be like a positive night going into 2023.
Oh, no. I'm leaving all the shit, all the bad stuff in 2022, so I got to get it all out.
Oh.
Exactly. Okay. So the way we get to 2022 3 better is I got to get it all out now. So, Reggie, your mustache is crazy. Boom. Next.
Okay.
Damn.
Let's see. She says hello there. Let's see. Lennon says, yeah. So we're glad that everybody's tuned in. Again, we just kind of wanted to spend some time. Apparently, well, first of all, me and Amy got the memo, so we got our holiday pajamas on. Yes, I got my little, I got my little situations on here. So in case everybody's asking, hey, it's just what it is. But Reggie also has his pajamas on. The problem with Reggie is he's very astronomical, into the orbs and the spiritual side. So his pajamas for the holiday tends to be his birthday suit because it helps him get to the higher planes more faster. But we don't want him here on his pajama holiday outfit because then the show turns a whole nother leaf and we don't want that thing. So we got ministers watching. We're trying to keep it PC.
Hey, it's actually Dragon Ball Z. I have the pajama pants, the socks, and the shirt.
Okay, hold on now. As I'm saying, you got to move up. This is literally what. This is literally Reggie, the entirety of the show.
All right, for all my Dragon Ball Z fans, you got legendary Goku right here.
I want to be like Reggie right now. This is literally Reggie. I love that. There it is.
All right, y'all see it right here.
Mm-hmm.
Also, we've got the pants.
Why did I start this? DeAndre, help.
Don't make me pull out the feet now. Hold up.
No. This is not that kind of show.
Hold up. I
Oh,
can't even do it.
I saw that. You about to throw your back out. Look at you.
I
Look
throw
at
my
you.
back
You
out.
thought you was going to take your foot up and do something crazy.
Yeah, I can't do that no more.
For the next 5 minutes, I'm gonna be Reggie, as you can see my camera. Hey guys, can you see my shirt?
To me, Kevin Hart
I have to
video.
tell you, so we always do matching pajamas on. We
Hold
always
on.
do matching pajamas
Hold on.
on Christmas Eve,
Mm-hmm.
and the ones that we got this year, they're onesies, but they actually the feet unzip. It's pretty
Oh,
cool. So you can take them off if you want to. You
I
just
like
have your
that.
feet out, or you can have your feet covered up. They're
I'm the.
kind of nice.
Hmm. Let's see. I'm the only one I can see on my screen. Can somebody send me a link? It should be
I
the
tried to put
YouTube
it in
link.
the Facebook chat.
Yeah, put it in the Facebook chat and in the public one. I want to say. I'm sure it
Actually, you know
got.
what?
Yeah,
Yeah,
here's yeah. Somebody posted it there, so they should have it. So that'll take care of that.
let's see.
Let us continue here. Let's see. Who do we have back in the building? Do 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 do. Let's see. Dun, 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 dun. Let's see. As we
Okay.
go and scroll
I think I
down.
just messaged it to you too, Capri.
Oh, we got some Air Force support coming your way there.
Yes.
No comment.
Oh, Glenn says save the rest for the OnlyFans page. You know what? We've talked a lot about doing an OnlyFans
No, we have
page.
not. I'm not. Don't start that. Don't start that here.
Was that
Mm-mm.
second, third stream of income?
Right.
Residual?
I hear feet do really well on OnlyFans.
Mm-mm. No, no. Find somebody else to do it. Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Oh,
Uh-oh. We got Legend back.
uh,
Legend's back in the mix. So every so often he'll pop in and kind of pop out. So there's a little bit of that. Let's see. Do.
Frank. Did you see his
Let's
face?
see. Frank Feet Finder, $29.99. Reggie will let you live stream of him getting a pedicure. You know what? Look, it's the craziest things in the world that people just seem to, kind of go for there. Coming at us from undisclosed location, it's brother 007. It's Abraham coming at us.
What's up,
Greetings,
Abraham?
everyone. Finally
Oh,
got through. We guys glad that you are here.
We're glad you're here.
Yeah. As you guys can see, we got the Legicam kind of on this side of the house, so doing a little bit of that. So we appreciate everybody tuning on in. So let's kind of get down to business. Amy, how are you doing? It's like literally you and Brian tag team. You were literally out of
I
commission
know.
for like a few, and just as you got better, boom, we lost one. Brian, you did this.
Yes. Yep.
How are you feeling? How have you been?
Good. Good. I had a crazy stint of probably for a couple weeks, maybe 2.5, 3 weeks.
Hmm.
But I was definitely out for the count for at least a week. And I lost my voice, and then I ended up with a double ear infection, and it was a mess. So, but I'm good now. I'm feeling good now.
I
So,
hope you feel good because guess who came up to YouTube?
oh well, there she is.
There you go. So you're about to get the business.
All right. Yes.
So for those that are watching, if you want to jump onto YouTube, it's Veteran DP channel. Easy to find. Come on over. The chats come out a little bit better on that side, so you're not restricted at least from having to just be kind of, with no details. So there's that. All right. Let's see. Joe jumped over. What is going on, my brother? Joe Palacios in the building. Hola. Cool. Let's see here. I'm glad. Let's see. We got Abraham. So on your side of the house, Reggie, how are you holding up? How are you closing out the year? What are some of your things? What's some of the take us into without getting too spiritual? What is the plan of action?
I would say for this year, some things I'm going to work on is trying to become, and I know it sounds cliches, but just become more grateful. A lot of times we have that talk in our head because we are our own best friends. And sometimes that negative talk actually overrides what we do in our lives consciously. So
Mm-hmm.
with that, when you feed into those negative thoughts, it just continues to spiral and spiral and spiral. And we all do it. We all talk to ourselves, believe it or not, whether people want to admit it or not. People say you're crazy. But
Mm-hmm.
anywho, but one of the
It's
things I
only
just want
crazy if when you talk to yourself, another voice comes out of nowhere. That's when it gets kind of crazy. That's when it's like, whoa.
yeah, yeah, definitely true. Um, definitely true. But with that, just become more grateful, be happy, and be better than last year. And then on with that, just work on some new things for real estate. Learning to do commercial real estate. That's where I'll be venturing into. So that's going to be a beast because I got to
Mm-hmm.
learn cap rates, ROIs, P&L statements, which I already do P&Ls, but much more on the commercial side of things. So it's going to be a journey, but something great to bring to our neighborhood because when it comes down to veterans, we hear about vesting in just regular, you know, duplexes, quadplexes, triplexes, regular residential homes. But why not step to the next level of why not buy apartments? Why not buy buildings? Why not lease a building?
Mm-hmm.
Let's take it deeper in that. And but with that in mind, how not only to impact your own, I would say, real estate portfolio, but also learn how to impact the local community. Because whenever you help the entrepreneur or business owner, they also employ people in local jobs. So you make impact in that neighborhood to keep that economy going locally.
Mm-hmm.
So those are things I'll be working on this year. So just to have the deconstruct and reconstruct new things for that side of the business. But on the veteran side, want to become more resourceful, better with helping more people around not only the local area but across the nation, and learn from you guys because I learned much from Amy, or much
Mm-hmm.
from all our team here, and it's been a blessing. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
I
How
like it.
about yourself?
Well, we have done some pretty amazing things with y'all here with us as we've kind of traversed, So those that have been, oops, lost a little ledge action. He's like, give me that phone. Ooh, go ahead and give him a break. He's like, look, I said hello. I don't want to say that much hello. He's I'm off duty. Um, but as far as um, things that we're looking forward to. So 2022 has been pretty interesting. For those that have been watching for a while, we've been helping veterans in a variety of different ways. We're all over social in different ways, fashion and forms. But looking at this coming year, this past year rather, we did a lot. We had a whole business exit, started a whole new business, began the process of helping veterans in different ways. So there's things that I'm looking at doing as to how we help the veterans that are out there, right? Because that's the biggest question. Like, are you guys like somebody else? No, we're not. Because again, who wears this dumb hat here live on a Friday night? So there's that part. But 2022 has been pretty interesting. Is the first year that we kind of began to really push forward with Veterans Network Champions Club, so VNCC organization. So those that don't see, you might see me on social media doing stuff and making, some, ruffling feathers videos or saying some, stuff to help veterans. But there's a crew behind the scenes, right? So I'm always in some shape, fashion, or form, for whatever the reason, in front of a camera. But the people behind the scenes that are doing some amazing things, which I'm going to be dragging on to screen, are some of the people we have here. And really the fact that we have advisors behind the scenes and are doing amazing things. It's been great. So Reggie came on board this year. Amy's been with me since damn near 2019 at this point. So it's crazy how many years we've been doing this, right? We partnered with other organizations. We kind of felt we wanted to do our own thing. And we're figuring that out. And it's hard to navigate the space because everybody thinks you're a scammer. Like today, somebody was on my TikTok. They were like, "Is this guy a scammer?" I'm like, "No, I'm just up to 3 in the morning answering your fucking questions." Like Jesus Christ, you know what I mean? And that's the biggest thing too, where it's like, it's one of those things where we do some stuff that's unique to us, and what I guess I'm thankful and grateful for is the fact that we've been able to try things, test things, do different things that are not normal, right? I literally took a screenshot of somebody who made a comment on the last video that I put up, where I was pretty much saying, hey, this is me looking at you as you're pretty much procrastinating on your VA claim yet a whole nother year. While we help veterans every day win their claim. And somebody literally commented, stop yelling at me. Fine, fine, I'll get to it. And somebody else replied, me, damn it, stop screaming at me. So my response on social media is literally, well, let's fucking go then. What the shit? Like, so his response was, I went last time, I got angered, I just don't know how to control myself. So my response to him was, so you bitch slap some folks, you chop some others in the neck, got it. You need some VA claims of keto. Let's get you right. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those things where I guess just being ourselves and just doing things our way really is what it comes down to, right? We're veterans, right? I don't like that whole like, hello, veterans, thanks for tuning in today to our show. We're going to be talking about claims and 2023 agenda. Fuck that. Like, you know what I mean? No, let's, like, we are who we are. And the fact of the matter is we want to at least be in a space where we feel comfortable to be ourselves. And again, we do these shows and we have these moments because there has to be a level of levity to things because we do go and talk about some serious things. Everybody you see on screen here is rated 100%, right? Let's just put that out there. It's cool I show you a service dog, but there's a reason why there's a service dog, right? The fact that Reggie is here, he has his own traumas, his own issues. Amy literally is one of the strongest women that I know. She's an MST survivor herself, and she talks about it. And again, when we're talking and doing things, especially coming into 2023, that's what we want to be starting to emphasize. Like you see literally 3 individuals here who look completely different, who come from different backgrounds of life. And you saw literally Dennis, who commented, from the 60 that he served, he's in his 80s. And he's one of our oldest veterans in our organization. So the fact that we have veterans from 24 years old to the mid 80s, for crying out loud, men, women, background, black, white, everything in between, Reggie's mustache, it's different. You know what I'm saying? And we have to have a balance because the fact is you're not going to win your VA claim doing whatever you've been doing. Because if that would have worked, you wouldn't be having this conversation with us, right? So the fact is we know how to get results. We know how to win because we've walked that walk. But this is not a thing of like, oh, DP, what do you think? I've been doing this since 2018, and I've helped over 10,000 veterans. And I got videos in the millions of views on purpose. Like literally somebody today commented, Amy, and this was the crazy part. This was literally the daggone comment that I got, which again, I love them, but it just shows you that you just don't know who's out there. Someone commented, thank you for pushing my husband to file his claim, and he was able to do that thing. And it's one of those things where you're like, oh, yeah, you're welcome. Like, you don't know the impact you're going to have on someone.
Right.
Where it's like, hey, I needed to see that video, or I needed to see that thing, or I tuned in that night. And, like even this show, we used to do the show when we had 2 viewers. It doesn't matter. Now we're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, we're, on different platforms. So, we're all over the place. But the biggest thing now is coming into 2023 is how to better serve our veterans. It's a congested space. There's a lot of miscommunication in the veteran claim space, a lot of misinformation. I get it. There's VSOs, but how has that worked out for you yet? Exactly. You got lawyers out there, great ones. How has that worked out for you yet? Exactly. The fact of the matter is we need solutions and less just, hey, this is what I tried one time. So we don't do the whole, like, we've helped these many people. No, we literally have people in the chat who have literally been our clients, literally, who have won. So you have 3 individuals here. And that's the funniest thing is looking at, and I'll bring it up later, but looking at our organization, when we were doing our website, if you guys go to veteransnetwork.club and look at the About Us page, it's funny because every single veteran in our organization is 100% PNT. And that was not really something that we identified at the beginning. It was like doing the bios. It was just like, oh, so you. And next thing you know, it's like, oh, snap. Everybody here is 100% PNT. One of our last advisors got his PNT this year. But the fact is we walked that walk. We've been through there. You got literally, DeAndre in the building, right, who just kind of came on board, and working with Amy. The fact that we have folks doing different things, it says a lot. Capri, of course, one of our OGs as well. Capri is driving. No, do what they say. Capri is thriving and surviving. And again, I highlight this because show me a place that you can go do business and well after you've won and done your business, you keep showing back up. Like that's something that
Mhm.
we might not see it, but Capri was a long time ago that we helped out, and she still shows up. And the Annette
Wait,
Copelands
when
of the
was our
world.
last meetup? It was it 2 years ago or 3 years ago? Capri, I'm telling you
Yeah.
guys,
Oh, so at Capri, we're
if
going
you
back to
guys,
Colorado. We're so
yes, Capri, it, all it's gonna be a repeat. I'm not eating at Murray, but it's going to be a repeat. So those that are watching, Capri is an OG, and she is one of the funniest
so you
people.
guys have to go to my YouTube, check it out.
Funniest.
uh 2 years ago we were in Colorado for our meetup, and Capri's watching online. Amy has never eaten an MRE, so there's that part. So we're like, okay, you have to try this live. So live, she eats MRE. Me and Brian are dying, literally watching this whole situation. As all this is happening, Amy's like literally, "Oh, oh, oh," and I'm like, how did you not eat an MRE? And the whole time Capri is sitting there literally like, shove it down your gullet, fly girl, and all this different
She's
stuff. And
like,
I'm like,
suck it down,
suck it down, fly girl, blah, blah, blah. Uh,
suck it.
yes, just suck it. I'm like, Capri, I cannot read this. Like, literally, you're writing stuff, blah, blah, blah. Exactly, DeAndre. She did not have an
I have,
MRE. So it
and it
is
was
it is
horrible.
actually a real thing.
It was horrible.
Oh, 100%, 100%. You know what I'm
While
saying?
while PP and Brian are sitting there after just eating it, just like, oh yeah, this is
Mm-hmm.
really good, and just finishing the whole thing like it
Mm-hmm.
was cake. And I was like
So
trying not to throw up on camera as
yeah,
PP
trust me. We
gets.
had that, we'd be playing that every week. Um, so here's a fun fact for you. One of my old school brothers in arms from way back in the day, Estrada Vega, actually was a recruiter with me and Anthony. So that's how far
Oh,
back he goes.
nice.
So
Wow.
yeah, everybody here knows Anthony because I always bring Anthony on and we talk about stuff and
Yeah.
harass him. But Estrada Vega was also literally with us back in the day, a recruiter, and he kept on and did amazing things after that, and moved on up the chain after I left and went to go do some, pew pew stuff. But yeah, another recruiter, and he does a lot of great stuff there. So make sure you check his page. He's doing financial information, and some point we'll coordinate for what we do on our side. I got to bring Damon back. So financial planning. So coming into 2023. So all I'd say, 22 has been amazing. Learned a lot of lessons. Can't compete with the competition because there is no competition. So there's that part. So we're in the claims business and we're good at what we do. We get results. End of story. Boom. But we're also going to look at the fact that if you meet someone who's interested in getting help, this is basically the vision for 2023. We're going to have three different membership tiers for our veterans, and really, it's one. If you're here, you're part of the NCC. You're part of our club. This is free. Our TikToks are free. Our YouTube is free. Everything we have out there is free. Go to our website. You're going to find a lot of information. Our Facebook group, if you're not a part of it, jump on in there. I go live in there and do stuff exclusively for them as well. There's a lot of stuff there where somebody just needs a little bit of information and they're great. Then we're also going to start doing then level two mid-tier memberships, right? And not just a membership because it's a club, so it sounds cool to say it that way. But a la carte, right? Maybe you want to take a workshop. So we're going to do a workshop for Nexus letters and buddy letters. So I'm looking at the second week of January, probably before we go to Colorado for that last week there. But we're going to do a workshop on Nexus letters and buddy letters, aka you want your doctor to write you a letter. You have some companies out there who want to, say, hey, we can do letters for you, but maybe you don't have that kind of money. Well, guess what? Here's the fun fact. A lot of those corporations that are out there doing that, I know them on a first name basis. We probably were behind the fact of how they know how to do what they do. So I'm going to teach you how to do the same exact thing to take it to your own doctor. How about that? So we're going to break down some things and we're going to literally go deep into what is a Nexus letter and how to write one because that's another skill set that y'all don't know too much about. So we're going to help you with that. But things like that, right? Workshops, intensives for people who are transitioning for the BDD program, creating
Yeah.
things for them as well. And then there are going to be instances where somebody's like, look, that's all great and dandy, but I just want to work with Amy directly or Reggie directly. I want an advisor to work directly with them, similar to how other organizations would assign you an advisor or coach, something like that. Well, guess what? We're going to offer that as well. And there's going to be obviously different tiers. So the free, stuff is free. The mid-level stuff is kind of, pick what you need. You want to go top tier? Then you go top tier. The fact of the matter is you have options. You don't have to go one way or the other, but let's
Yeah.
create options for veterans to do something. So the information is free, right? But the implementation, well, that comes with a fee. So, information is great, but knowing how to curate the information and put it together is a different conversation because I can change my oil, do my plumbing in the house, but if I've never done that, it's going to be a problem. So it's about skill. And we have that, and we profess that. So that's what I'm really looking forward for 2023. We're looking to bring on some different advisors, new people, new crews. So as we begin to expand, right, we want to do that as well. And some incentives for members. If you like bring a veteran to the club, we're gonna have some incentives for that. So we're calling that our VSC, like an SMC but a VSC. So our VNCC special compensation. You refer a friend, there's a compensation. So cool things like that, where it's like that's all the perks of being in the club, right? But not refer a friend. You bring a friend, because when you're part of a club, you bring somebody. You don't refer somebody, because that doesn't mean you're part of it. So that's kind of like the macro of what we're looking at. But we're going to be in Colorado. I put that in the Facebook group, the 26th forward of January. If you're in Colorado Springs, Denver, in Colorado rather, let us know. We want to try to meet up with some veterans that are part of our crew as well. But we have that. We have the big 3 basketball tournaments that are going to be kicking up. So we're going to be sending veterans to basketball games across the country. Be on the lookout for that. So there's a lot of stuff that we're doing. We're going to be unpacking a little bit of that, but a lot. So I'm really grateful for that, to Reggie's question, which is the long way of doing that. That's why TikTok's amazing, because you only get 60 seconds of me. But but the point is, there's a lot that we're trying to do. We want to serve, but it's not easy. And the fact of the matter is, if we want something different, we have to do something different, but we need your help, right? I'm not going to sit here and do, a freaking 30-minute show, and every 5 minutes I'm trying to sell you some shit. Like, I don't like that crap. But the problem is, people like being sold to. So that's the conundrum of this business, right? It's like, oh, you guys are better than other folks. Yeah, okay. But the same token, I'm not sitting here every 5 minutes trying to sell you some shit. Like, I'm not a marketer. I'm not sitting here like, I'm going to give you 5 keys to fucking do a thing. Sign up here. Like, no, just fucking do this shit and do that thing and go off. You need more help? Let me know. Like, what I mean? Again, we're going to be doing things a little bit different. But we need people to join us for the ride. And that's, I guess, the biggest thing. So I'm happy with what we've done in 2022. We're making changes for 23, so I'm excited for that. But, VA claims, personal development, business development, those things are things we want to do, but it all hinges on the initial part, which is the claims. So we're helping veterans with claims. That begins to get traction for us. We begin to look at business. We begin to look at things. Again, this is a virtual organization. We have tech. We have environment. We have all kinds of stuff. And we want to be able to help other veterans do the same thing, too. So that's, some of the things that I guess I would say I'm really kind of thankful for. So being able to share that with you all is kind of the big thing. Caveat, if you have questions about your VA claims, type them in the comment section. Trust me, look, I can answer business questions and VA claims questions without missing a beat. Ask me to go ahead and bounce on one leg, different story. But that is a little bit of that there. Let's see. We have some comments here. So we got DeAndre. Let's see. Capri said, client, I won after trying myself for 12 years. Boom. Testimonial.
Wow.
So that's just the facts. She says she's an OG, a.k.a. an original goofball. She said it, not
She
me.
is. I'm telling you, Capri is. We've been trying to get Capri to come on. Every Friday night, we would all be like, "Is Capri gonna be here? Is Capri?" I mean, she would make our night. Like,
It's going to happen.
and you made my night
It's going to
being here.
happen.
Like, we've missed you. We've talked about you. We've said, "Oh, I wonder where Capri is." We talked
Hiding
about
from
you on
us.
the side, like, "Hey, send Capri a message. Tell her about Friday Night Live." So, I'm so happy you're here. You're amazing, and just like DP was saying, it's really good to have people that even after you've won, you still hang out, you still come, you still hang out with us, because you build that camaraderie and that rapport, and you really become family. And that's what like nights like tonight are about, where maybe you don't have anything else to do or anybody else to hang out with, but you're just hanging out with us, and
Mm-hmm.
having a good time talking about me eating MREs or not eating MREs. But no, it's good to see you for free.
So actually, here's a good question for you, Amy. So like we said before, Amy's been watching this show since literally like the first show ever, like way
Mm-hmm.
back when, 2019, where it was like,
Mm-hmm.
hey, and again, this whole show was a complete fluke. It was literally a let's do a show, we'll pre-record it, we'll cut it up, and we'll post it, because nobody does lives back in 2019. Like everybody does it now because they think it's cool. Like we've been done that, but we do the show. And I was like, you know what? I need to test some systems. So me and Rana said, hey, let's go live and just kind of test some things, just to kind of see who's online. And before we know it, we have a whole ass production of people showing up and everything. And I was just like,
Yeah.
I think I like doing it live better than doing the pre-recorded crap, because we just do it and we're done. So the laziness was like, hey, let's just kind of keep doing it this way. but Amy's kind of seen a transition from being one a client
Hmm.
initially, and just watching, and then eventually going from being a client to actually working, helping other veterans, and then coming on the show, being here there. So from your perspective, Amy, give me a little kind of why, like why, and again, just for folks that don't know, tell us just kind of a quick synopsis of, again, I said MST because there's people out there who may not know what that is. So just kind of at least give us a quick caveat on what that is, because when people are starting to look at, hey, maybe I want to work with Amy or Reggie, we're different in different ways. But I think it's just good to be able to start reintroducing folks to get there. So just kind of a quick, what you're kind of rated for, and then from there, what made you go from being, let's say, a client and watching to wanting to actually help pay it forward and moving up forward, and when you're here. So give us a little
Yeah,
recap
sure.
on your journey, because I think it's a powerful story, and it gives me a break from talking.
So I was watching. I was stationed with somebody that used to do this as well, and we were friends on Facebook. And one night it came up on, and I was watching. I was like, "Wow, this is really interesting." And they were funny. It was back when I think Chris Bourne was even on, and you and Ronis and Brett and Terrell, and just watching you guys, and you guys had different people come on talk about different things. And so I am rated for military sexual trauma. I'm 100% for that. When I didn't start out with that. I will tell you, I honestly didn't even realize that I could get an increase until I started watching the show. And so I just thought you just got what you got and that was it. I never heard anything else about it. I didn't know that you could ask for an increase, that you could request other conditions, that you could do secondaries, all that stuff. So that's how I sort of learned about that. And then it was just a great experience for me. I had it, I will say I had a very pleasant experience and it worked out really well for me. It was pretty smooth. But it was also, from the coaching of these guys and, um, the encouragement and the pushing and because I was nervous like some people. It's tough, because you're opening a can of worms that you haven't opened, or it can cause issues with your spouse or your significant other because you haven't talked about it and now they're wondering what's wrong with you because you might be a little bit off or you don't want to tell them. So I'm not going to say that it's easy, but it's rewarding in the end, and the end result is worth it. So sort of a weird roller coaster for me, but I had a lot of positive encouragement from Nally, who's part of our team. She pushed me quite a bit. DP did too, but in a mean way, as you guys see how he is with me already. So he threatened to kick me out of Slack or something like that if I didn't get my claim filed.
I just specifically said fire claim or I'm kicking you out of everything.
Yeah, and so so it did take that push for me though, because I thought to myself, hey, I talk about this, I didn't talk about it until I started doing this. Actually, I think it was with DP. DP asked me, would you be willing to? And I was like, well, I think I will. Because with me, I don't know if some of you guys on here know who Dr. Sharp is, but I absolutely adore her. And we were actually just talking about this yesterday. But a lot of people, men and women, that are MST victims or victims to survivors or whatever the case may be, they they all share the same symptoms. And so when that could be for any mental health rating, but specifically when it comes to MST, I sometimes I hear what you're saying without you saying anything, and I get what it's just a weird, like, certain
Hmm.
things are said, you act certain ways, you a lot of for many times being an advisor, I've had more men than I have women for military sexual trauma. And I can't tell you how many times, like, I've told the team, and I don't know if I've shared it on here, but, sometimes they say, like, how did you know to ask me that? Or what made you ask me that question? And crying and saying, like, I've never said this out loud, or I didn't even think that that was something I could do. I never reported it, or I never thought that somebody would believe me, or I felt guilt, or I felt shame, or I felt. And so for me, I love talking to people that are dealing with that because it's almost therapy for me too. Like I get it. I understand. I feel you. I understand what you're saying. I get what you're saying, and trying to be that encouragement to say, you know, or it just teach them, or talk to them, walk them through, this is what you do and this is how you do it. And uh you know you have to tell them, like, hey, sometimes it gets harder before it gets easier, but in the end, I feel like it's worth it, and it works out. But you have to be ready. And we've had some clients that have been with us for months, and then they say, like, okay, I'm ready. Okay, I'm
Mm-hmm.
ready to talk about it. Okay, I'm ready to write. And so for me, that is, I would say, of course, I can talk to you about plantar fasciitis too. It's fine. But I would say that, just don't ask me about sleep apnea because I'm not a fan of it. But um, I would say, that's sort of my sweet spot. That's what I'm super comfortable with,
Mm-hmm.
just because I feel like I think I coach, a little bit different where, I really think it's important to be heard. And I think that a lot of MST clients haven't been heard because they've never told their story. And so sometimes just being able to be heard and being able to say, this happened and this is how I feel and this is how it affects me and whatever. And it gives them, it builds that trust and it builds that rapport. And it just makes, I guess for me, I remember saying, if I can help one person, then it would be worth it. If I can help one person, because I remember being that person
Mm-hmm.
after the situation happened, in my uniform, in my office, crouched over, crying. And one of my best friends to this day, which was new to the med group, but I didn't really know anybody, accidentally walked into my office. He had a key and I didn't answer. And he was like, oh my God. And I explained to him what happened. And I just remember going back to what DP says sometimes, his favorite saying is, people often won't remember, who you are, what you did, but they'll remember how you made them feel. I remember how he made me feel. I remember that he was shocked. I remember he was like, hey, I'm sorry I walked in on you. And I remember he wanted to make sure like I was okay and I was heard and that stuck with me, right? And so when I was watching DP and all the other guys do this, I was like, "That I get, I like that. I like they're helping people, they're changing people's lives." And back to what DP was saying earlier today, sometimes it's not just about helping yourself, it's about helping your family. It's about helping your kids. It's about that journey of becoming victim to survivor, so that you're better for your kids, so that you can start getting that care that you need from the VA, so you can start talking to somebody, because some people have never talked about it before and they're like, I didn't know I could even be seen at the VA. I didn't know I could talk to anybody. How do I talk to somebody? And so just being able to give that information to people and being able to help them. And I can't tell you how many people have said it's life changing for them. And it's not just about the money. Yes, money, it's nice, right? But it's about the benefits. It's about sometimes building that camaraderie with people, staying in touch. Sometimes, just being in an environment where you feel sort of safe to be yourself, to say what you want to say without feeling like you have to walk on eggshells. Because let's be honest, if you're, sitting in a group of people at dinner and nobody's military, I will tell you, I can talk to him, but I'm a different Amy. I'm a totally different Amy, right? And so when you're with people that you're comfortable with and have served, and regardless of what branch you've been in, but you've been through the same sort of things, you understand each other. And sometimes it's like without even having to say things. It's without even having to tell a story. I mean, I can't tell you how many times, even amongst, with Brian or Reggie or DP or, Vernon or whatever, on the team, I can sort of, I might be down or I might not be good. And I, can say a couple things without saying much at all. And they come right back with something. And then it's like, okay, I'm good. I'm ready to move on, And, I think that I was sick and I was down, and I will say that my communication with my clients wasn't the greatest because I kept thinking I was going to get better, and I wasn't getting better, and I was on medication, and I couldn't talk, and blah blah blah. And so some clients were upset, understandably, and I was telling DP yesterday, you know. I lost a client because, I wasn't able to communicate with him in the timely manner that he wanted to. And DP was, being encouraging about it because DP knew what I was going through, some other stuff that, I was going through too. But when I was telling DP, I learned something from him. I learned something from what he said. And so what I had told him was, I'm really sorry. I've been really sick. And I was explaining to him, like, hey, my house flooded twice. They cut my internet. I didn't have access. I couldn't talk on the phone. I was, I had the flu. And I was trying to explain to him, like, I was not ignoring you. I'm sorry. I wasn't. And really great guy. Had great conversations with him, respect him dearly. And DP was just sort of like, hey, moving on. Like, hey, like, let's move on. It's fine. You were going through what you were going, whatever. And I started thinking about it today, and I was like, no, you know what? Because I am a veteran, just like all of our clients, and we do go through the same thing that you guys go through. I mean, yes, this is, our job and our full time job for some of us. But I felt like I wanted him to understand, hey, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I didn't get to you quick enough. I'm sorry that, the communication, was off.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't crazy about, and Carol, who's amazing, I couldn't do what I do without her. She was trying to communicate with my clients, but it kind of threw him because it's like I thought I was communicating with Amy. Why am I communicating with you? But she was trying to fill in that gap of, hey, she can't talk. Like they literally cut my line outside. I was trying to go to Starbucks and work, and I couldn't stop coughing. It was just a whole mess. Anyways, so I'm trying to explain to him, and I was thinking about what DP said, and I was thinking, well, you know, trying to sort of think, why was DP saying that? Why was DP sort of like, hey, I don't care, keep it moving, and go on to the next one, And I started thinking about it back to what he tries to remind us of as coaches. It's like, hey, sometimes you got to take some time for yourself. Sometimes you have to remember you're a veteran too. You have mental health issues too. You're dealing with things too. And so in the moment, I was just being me. I was being real. I was being honest. I was being vulnerable. I was telling him, I am sorry, but this is what I was going through. And he basically, his advice to me was, you know, in the future, as a leader, what you should never do is tell who you're working with what's going on in your personal life. And he gave me a lot of good advice. He gave me some quotes. He's obviously successful, as well. And, he's choosing to go about it on his own, which I respect. But, he said, you know, I guess maybe I messed up by telling him what was going on in my personal life, with whatever, just being sick. And it was like, hey, you know what? I'm a veteran just like you. I'm a veteran. You came to me because you have some issues. I have issues too. But yeah, we all go through it. So, sometimes I ask for grace with clients that, hey, we're just like you. We are veterans with disabilities. Like DP said, we're all 100%. We're all 100% PNT. But we are here because we want to make a difference. We want to help. We want to be the change. We want to help people understand how can you get to 100% because you deserve it, right? And so for me, my journey has been about trying to help others be heard and trying to give people that space, that time, that space to be heard, to be understood, like it does make me feel good when somebody says, even though it can be sad, when somebody says, um, "How did you know to ask me that?" Or "What made you know I've never told anybody this. I've never talked about this. I never thought I would say this out loud again." And for me, it's like, because I'm you. Like the little things that you're saying, I'm you. I get it. Like I think I understand what maybe you went through. So, this has just been an amazing journey with so many people, and of course more than just MST, but it's been a journey with so many people. But I think my biggest why and my biggest, like, hey, seeing what they saw, and I thought that's really cool. They're changing lives. They're changing lives for your kids, for your spouse, helping you get to a better place in life. Like Capri had said earlier, like she didn't think she'd be moving to Texas and buying a new house. It doesn't make it easier sometimes. It doesn't mean that you still don't have to do the work. It doesn't mean that it's going to solve your problems, but it sure helps when you have resources. It sure helps when somebody explains to you, hey, you don't have to pay that $1,300 a month anymore to your student loans because you're 100% PNC and you can get those wiped clean. Or, hey, guess what? You can go to the dentist. You don't have to, live in pain because your teeth hurt all the time. Just you don't know what you don't know, right? And so making that connection with people and just being able to be a positive influence. And I will say, and I know, DP can definitely speak to this, and he does sometimes when he's allows himself to be uncomfortably vulnerable. But what we do is sometimes more for, like, hey, yeah, we're helping veterans, but sometimes you guys as part of the club, and people that we've worked with or people that we are working with, um, are really helping us, and you're really making a difference for us. And that's what it is. I mean, I can't tell you how many times sometimes, like, DP will say, I've told DP, like, you know what, there's been times where I'm like, hey, you know what, I'm not good, like I got to take a couple days, I'm not good. And then I get a call and I'm like, oh, I have to take this call, I have to talk to this client. And he's like, you don't have to talk to the client. But then when I talk to him, I'm like, you know what, I'm good. I feel like I'm back in the game. Like I feel I found my purpose almost. Like I found what gives me my motivation and kind of gives me my coffee in the morning, if you will, is being able to, talk to people and just feel like they understand me, I understand them, and we're just part of this big happy family with Veterans Network Champions Club, and hopefully we'll always stay together and stay connected and have these Friday Night Lives where Capri comes back on and Dennis comes on and all the people, that make this happen too. And so I'm very thankful for the space that DP provides. He doesn't give himself enough credit, but he's life changing, for all of us, because it is what keeps a lot of us going. No pressure, but it is what keeps a lot of us going. It is what keeps us going, and it is what keeps us motivated, and it is what is able to help, so many people. And it's one thing to say that you've been able to change one person's life, but to be able to say I've helped 10,000 plus veterans. I haven't myself, but I'm speaking, for DP, as far as running the teams that he has. And then to be able to help guide us and mentor us and push us, because I told DP probably a year ago, I was like, I'll never run a team. No, I'm going to stay where I'm at. I'm not doing this. And, he'll push me a little bit here and there and tell me this. I'm like, no, no, not doing that. And here I am, like, now I'm running a team, and, and trying to, build a little bit and branch out and try to gain a little bit of confidence,
Let me put
in
your little
myself.
teammate. Let me put your little teammate right next to you.
And so, it's just been an amazing experience. It's like no other. I honestly, when people ask about it, it's just something that it's like no other. And I'll tell you, like, it just brings me so much joy and so much happiness. And um, one of the funny things that I love is sometimes my kids, like, they are so patient with me, because it can be very time consuming. It can take a lot of time and time away from them, or all hours of the night or whatever. But it's been so amazing to watch them be able to, like, my two younger girls, like, I'll mess around with them and tell them to, give me a strategy, and they have it, like, because they've listened and they've picked it up and they've picked it up. But something that was been super touching in the last couple months is Quincy has watched me. Gosh, he's 20 now, so he's watched me for a couple years, and Quincy sends people to me, and Quincy's like vetting them for me. Quincy's asking him questions, and Quincy told me the other night, he's like, you know what? It feels good. It feels good to be able to tell people, like, hey, call my mom. She can help you, because I feel so bad for this girl. She had no idea that she could get rated for anything. He's 20, and for him to say, you know what, that felt really good. And the last time he was listening to DP, he sometimes he comes in at night, when he comes off of work, and he'll lay in the bed, and he's like, man, I just feel like I had a good therapy session. I think I can go to bed now. Like, it's just so therapeutic, and it's just I'm very proud to be a part of it, and very proud to work with all of you guys, and especially of course, the clients. And so I guess that's sort of my why, when it comes to, what made me decide to go from watching to, like, let me pursue this claim, to, like, hey, I think this is something that I want to do. And it's been amazing. I've met
Hmm.
some amazing people that will be in my life forever, no matter what happens. So I'm forever thankful for that.
And I think that's what people need to hear, and kind of as we move forward, for folks to start understanding. I'm literally showing our website for those that haven't seen it, but really here, you see Brian, who's off duty today as he's kind of recuperating, right? But we got you see Amy's background there, and again, other organizations are not going to literally sit there and do that. You're not going to just sit here and get, and again, it's a concession thing, right? So Amy's real nice about what my response was when she talked about losing a client. Because trust me, it was not that PC, but I like how she framed that, so we'll leave it at that. But literally, this is one of the craziest things where it was literally creating this page for our website that brought up the fact that everybody's 100%. Brian, and then because
Mhm.
we're trying to make sure we uniform and stuff like that, we have a whole media crew and all that stuff, but uh, which, by the way, I do like the lead benefit advisor piece, Brian, that got updated. So just fun facts of like the little nitpicky stuff of how I see things. But, making a point where you'll be able to go into these pages and actually learn more about Brian and his landing page and refer people to him or things like that. So literally, we're creating things that are a little bit different, not just some cheap stuff, but, here we have our old
Mhm.
pictures. Sensu, who's literally in the chat, who just kind of commented as well. Miranda, literally from the Air Force side of the house, 100% PNC medically disabled. Maria, who's a mill spouse, whose husband is 100% PNC
Yeah.
disabled, who's been with us as well. So we have mill spouses. We got Hiram, Marine Corps, same situation. We got Reggie in the background there. You got Vernon. We see we updated y'all little graphics, so everybody's good to go there. I don't know why we gave Reggie so many guns for the muscles, so I'm gonna have to talk to the artist about updating that. In case you're wondering, yep, that is Vernon right there hitting us with a round brown. So I don't want no beef with that dude. And he's also acting as our VNCC chaplain. So things like that. And again, scroll through civilians who are also disabled, not military.
Yes.
So it's one of those things where it's like, hey, we're trying to do things that are a little bit different. Again, take a look at that there legend. He's named after Chris Kyle, Navy SEAL. So and then myself back here
Mhm.
apparently pointing to the fact that that font is wrong or something. I don't know what I was doing in that picture.
Mhm.
but no, that's the whole thing. Our whole goal is to do something different, and even when it comes to the fact that where my focus is not the client, I don't necessarily care about clients. And what I mean by that is my focus is my team. My focus is the people that are doing this. My focus is Amy, Reggie, Brian, Miranda, Nieli, everybody behind
Yeah.
the scene. If they're good, they will take care of clients and vets, and then the vets will be good. So it's one of those things where that's kind of how I look at it. When it comes to what's
Mhm.
happening, like I love when like Reggie or Amy, they're like, I'm like, I don't want to hear it. It doesn't matter. It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
There's gonna be some fallouts, but the fact is, I know who I have on my team, and if I know who
Mhm.
they are, like military position, I don't have to worry about that. My job is to sit here and do my thing. So going to 2023, it's like, look, this is what I'm doing. Whether or not you guys are ready, I'm going. I'm making the videos going viral. Guess what? I'm typing, I'm chatting, I'm doing what I got to do. You guys have my six. That's it. I don't need to look back and be like, oh, what did you do back there? I don't care. You did what you're supposed to
Mhm.
do. That's why we pre-plan and do things.
Yep.
So from a business perspective, I see things a little bit different, right? My whole thing is I take care of my team, and my team in turn takes care of veterans. If my vets are good, aka the internal team, then our clients, our vets at large are good. The end. And if
Mhm.
they are good, they take care of us. So it's a cycle, right? I take care of my crew takes care of veterans, veterans take care of us. The end. That's why we have people who refer people to us and all those things that happen. So it's a little bit of a different perspective. But the biggest thing I always say, and again, I teach Wednesday, like this year for some
Mhm.
stats, you know, we've donated to over 20 nonprofit organizations. Fun fact, we give
Yeah.
5% of everything that we do to nonprofit organizations. So over 20 plus, I'll put an email together and put it out there, that we do. And again, we don't talk about it because it's not like, look what we're doing. Like, no, it's because it's the right thing to do. But we have to start incorporating telling people stuff because you won't know. But things like that. But I always, like Wednesday nights, every Wednesday this year, I've taught a class. Like one Wednesday
Mhm.
orientation, one Wednesday CMP prep. You want to see me on Wednesday night? I'll be teaching class. But
Yeah.
I say that to say that we are disabled veterans. I showed you the page. It looks cool, but we're disabled veterans helping disabled veterans. And the fact of the matter
Mhm.
is, if you want what we can provide, which is someone who really understands what you're going through, we can talk about every single situation because, in some shape, fashion, or
Mhm.
form, we have a mastermind behind the scenes, right?
Yeah.
This is not I've helped 5 people. No, it's actually 10,000 plus veterans, videos in the millions. There's a lot of information. You know what I'm saying? Like I love when people reach out, hey, I'm a raider and stuff. I'm like, great, you're like the 15th raider that I know now. Like it's one of those things where people don't know just how many people are a part of our network in some shape, fashion, or form. So when we're saying something, we're coming with facts. We pull regulation, we pull a CFR. You see my videos, no one's gonna do it the way I do it. But then you see other organizations trying to copy things to make a quick video. And it's just like, no, I'm breaking down to you statistics, strategic plan, what we're doing, how the VA does this. But if we're disabled veterans helping disabled veterans, it comes with a cost. And it means that sometimes, look, it took you 20 years to file this goddamn claim. Guess what? If Amy's out of commission for a week, hold what you got. Go into a holding pattern. You will be all right. If you have a CMP coming up, we'll cover down. Reggie will cover down. Like, there's not, where's the emergency? Where's the fire? You've literally waited 25 years and you want someone who literally has a house flooded, right? Because nobody sees that. There's over 30 people behind the
Right.
scenes. So I have to deal with the entirety because also have, virtual
Yeah.
assistants and things like that. So I got about 30 people that I'm dealing with on a daily basis, plus social media, plus the comments never
Yeah.
end, plus all these different things. So there's a whole lot. And then the family. Thank God that
Mhm.
they're very accommodating. But my point is, it's one of those things where it's like you don't know. Like, and I actually put this out to the crew. We have literally internal. And again, I
Yes.
get the whole don't tell people what you're going. No, 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 no. I don't like that because business is I bought a car. I'm out of here. I don't talk to you. No, we're saying you're part of our club. You're part of our tribe, which means that we're like you. Which means that if Amy can do this, I can do this. Amy's like, I can't build a team. The fuck you can. If I can do it, you can do it. But I'm not
Mhm.
techie. Who the fuck's that big techie? I got tech. What I need is you. I need this and I need this. I need the care. I can teach you about claims. I can teach you CFR. I can teach you about all that crap. The stuff that's out there, it's easy. But talking to a veteran and helping them understand to speak about something, back to Amy's point,
Yeah.
how did you know? If they say that it takes about 10,000 hours to master something. The point at hand is in 30 minutes, I know exactly what your problem is. In 5 minutes, I'll build rapport with you. But it's because you're not unique. You are literally the 200th veteran who's been through MST. And the minute you say something, I'm like, so basically, this is what's going on. How did you know?
Yep.
Because it's literally
Mhm.
the telltale sign. Because
Mhm.
again, for me specifically, um, I was an air marshal for a period of years. So when you look at my background, counterterrorism, psychology, reading people, being undercover, doing all that, I just mastered the ability to read people. That's just the whole profiling stuff. So when we're talking to veterans, like you think you're good at hiding things, but you're not. Because the minute you
Yeah.
say something like, "Oh, I do this and I do that," I'm like, "And what was your job? And what did you do?" So it sounds to me like, brrr, and it's just like, "How the fuck did you know all that?" I'm like, because it's mastery. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what it comes down to. This is expertise of knowing, hey, I know exactly what you're going through. And it happens internal. Like I'll talk to Reggie and be like, so basically it's all this shit. And he's just like, God damn it. Like, where the fuck did that come from? And the thing about it is it's not about, showing a spotlight, but this is a skill that we have, but some of you have it as well. It's just you don't know where to tap in that skill set that you have because maybe it's your job that you no longer can do because the fact is you're not going to be a cop no more. You can't be a carpenter no more. You can't do this no more. But guess what you can be? You can be a vet. You can be a human being. You can help someone understand that it's not about me filing a claim for my back or my knee. It's about me filing a claim to deal with the fact that guess what? As a man, right? I'm not that advanced in age, but I'm 100% disabled, medically retired from Florida law enforcement, and I'm 40. Make it make sense. I was literally at one time in my life across the globe doing things on a Friday night. And not like partying, but like operations, traveling, doing things. Like that's not my life anymore. So I had to reinvent myself. I had to find new things. All right, I cannot do stuff. I do videos great, and I can talk, but the fact is I can't feel my fingers. So I don't do emails. I'll do videos all day, but don't ask me to sit here and write blogs because fuck that. I can't. It hurts. I cannot do that thing, but I find a way to do something. And as can Reggie, as can Amy. So our ability to connect with people, have conversations, and take folks to a place of like, look, I know what you're trying to do, but you're missing the point. You're upset that you're stuck at 70 or 30 and you're chasing some ear condition or some knee condition. It's the impact on your life. It's the fact that you can no longer do what you used to do. You can't stand. You can't do that job. Your marriage is coming apart. Hell, today, I say this all the time. When you're going down this rabbit hole, be ready because it will uncover things you may not be ready for. You may ask your spouse to write you a buddy letter about what's really happening, and you will find out things about yourself that you're not ready. Kids will write letters to you for your claim, and I'm like, be ready because it's gonna hurt. And even today, it's just like vets reach out like, hey man, I gotta take a break from the wife, man. This stuff, trust me, it happens. This ain't just a little simple claim. It's understanding what has to be said. The VA is broken, has issues, but this operator error of how we talk about something, how we truly tell how we're impaired, how as a veteran you talk about being a man with MST, military sexual trauma. How do you tell that story? We have veterans who literally are like, I've never told anyone this. I've been married for 25 years. My wife doesn't even know that I'm a victim of this. How the shit did you get this out of me? It's like, because, and again, we use comedy sometimes because it helps break down the serious things. But it's like, you know what? When the student is ready, the master will appear. The fact of the matter is, if you're going to come and have a conversation with us, it's not going to be just do this and win. No, it's going to be a real conversation because it's this. Filing a claim is easy, but understanding how to tell your story, understanding how to get to a place of explaining to someone that while I might be rated 10% for this and this for that, I've lost my identity. I've lost control of things. I can't control my PTSD. I can't control my bowel movements. I can't control my anger. I can't control my hands. I can't control the way my body functions. I can't control my tiredness. No matter what the fuck I do, nothing is fucking in my control. How do I tell that story? That's not a Google search. That's not a file this and do that and be good to go. So when a VSO says, oh, just go ahead and Google and do a thing, it didn't fucking work. You don't understand. You was a carpenter and I can't use my hands. So how the fuck do I tell that story? I've lost my identity. What am I supposed to do now? I can't be in a field because the way my sinusitis, allergic rhinitis is set up. My son loves soccer. I can't be around grassy environments. Riddle me that. I grew up playing sports. I can't teach my kids that because the way my knees are set up. I'm a victim of MST and things trigger me like certain colors and certain images. And here comes my kids with a green card, Happy Father's Day, and green reminds me of where I was molested. You see what I'm saying? That's a conversation people are not ready to have. How do you tell that story? How do you tell someone that the fact is I literally am married for 20 plus years, but when I literally go into a place, I verbally am abusive. And the fact is I don't feel sorry for it because hurt people hurt people. Maybe because you're married because you don't want to be alone, but you've been unavailable emotionally. You've literally been married for 20 years, and the fact is, you are unavailable emotionally. You are not in a place to be in a relationship, but you just can't be alone. And you keep repeating the cycle. So these are the things that, are huge to us, but to the point of getting to a place of understanding that, hey, we are broken people helping people. And I understand that, hey, don't tell your clients, all like there's a line for that. But you have to understand that if you want something different, this is a home cooked meal. You want fast food, go somewhere else.
Mhm.
You want someone to really go to bat for you and have this conversation for you. We've been live for the past, what is it now? An hour and 15 minutes. How many things did I sell you? Where's the call to action? Where's the sell? There isn't one, because someone right now out of everybody watching has nothing to do. And guess what? I will sacrifice my Friday night and spend it with someone. All the others, I'm glad you're here, but there is someone who literally has no one else. So we'll spend it
Mhm.
with them. Put a price tag on that. So my point is, it's different business. So I understand the perspective of oversharing, because yes, there's a place for that. But the fact of the matter is, like, no, from Jump Street, if you want to do business with us, we are disabled veterans helping disabled veterans, which means that, hey, I'm going to help you get somewhere. But the same way your migraine takes you out, mine's going to take me out too. I'd love to post a video every day, but that's just not my reality. So schedules don't work for me because the way I'm set up. I'm glad these other YouTubers and TikTokers do shit every fucking day. The way I'm set up, I don't have that ability.
Mhm.
That's just the facts. How the hell am I supposed to do a 2 o'clock every day when IBS strikes whenever the hell it wants? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it has to be said, because there's definitely a place and a time for things, but we're doing something different. We're trying to create something that isn't like other things. And it starts by being transparent. This is a tribe. We could do business. We can do things and services and offerings, but we can be real. Because again, maybe tomorrow I can be Amy. I can go from watching the show to being on the show. Amy said I could never build a team, yet here's Reggie on her team. So the point is, we have the ability to grow and do things. And even to the point of some of the comments, as we kind of bring them up here as well, is it doesn't matter. You don't have to be 100% to be part of the team, but you have to have this. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And not everyone goes to 100. That's just a point there. It just happens to be that we're set up that way. But
Hmm.
here's the reality. The fact is, we can get you to the rating that you will end up at, whether that's 50, 70, or 100. That's easy. That's the fact. It is easy if we have the things that are needed to get there and we do the work.
Right.
But what I cannot teach you or give you is the desire to help and the heart to serve. That's the part that I cannot give you. So as far as the arbitrary things, like, no, you have to bring a skill set that makes sense, but the community almost kind of really rejects or accepts you. It's like one of those things of like, no, we know people by first name basis. We know who shows up. Amy showed up to every single show, and it's almost like, hey, how do you get on the team? Just show up. It's a tribe. You keep showing up, and it's like before you know it, you're on the front line. That's just the way it works. You can't be a part of a thing unless people know you. You know what I'm saying? People know more about Lisa Chaser, you know what I'm saying, Capri than
I
anything
know.
else. At some point, you don't know what opportunities may come as we grow and scale, right? So to this question here, you never know. But there's things we need to do to get to a place to be able to bring more people on. I love this comment from Dennis. He says, "You call me an OG. I didn't know that that meant original goofball." There's that part. Capri says, "Man, you're killing me. Now I'm gonna have to go freaking help some people." See, that's what we're talking about. Help some
Yeah.
freaking people. um, let's see here. It says, "Well, thank you. Seriously." She says, "You got equal opportunity, NCO, and training coming out of me, all over the place." You know what I mean? Um, so and agreed, that is trauma, MST. So
Yeah.
this is the stuff that we have to show people, because we understand that. Let's see, we have DeAndre's talk about story of my life. Yep. um Capri shares, let's see here, I went from zero to see, from 100 disability, filed claiming correctly with the help, was 100% PNT, 6 months from start, getting paid just because of 20 how to do it. These guys are no joke. There it is. Like I said, not paid. That's just the facts. DeAndre, I'm hoping mine goes like that as well. Look, one way or the other. Uh,
Hmm.
oh, please don't look. We ain't gotta don't worry about those no spell check. That's fine. Um,
Oh
let's
no.
see
Yeah.
here. Dr. Sharp. Let's see. My brother-in-law was too ashamed to
Hmm.
report it. How can he go about filing a claim? Yeah. So, and that's the thing. So here's one
Oh
thing I
yeah.
will say. So one thing we have very unique is how we also play as a team, right? Because there's
Hmm.
certain things where okay, if I know, so I don't work people directly. That's not what I do. Just I do stuff. I talk. Everybody thinks they're gonna talk to me, and it's like, oh no, hold on now. There's a way we do this thing here, right? Because of just bandwidth. But there's instances where Amy's talking to someone, Reggie's talking to someone, and then I lead classes, so we work together as a team. So I do things at scale. But sometimes it's literally of being in this conversation because right now I've said something I'm sure that someone out there can relate to and say, "Yep, that's me."
Hmm.
Right? Like again, scrolling back up, what DeAndre said, story of my life. Right? You know what I'm saying? So how am I literally giving a story of life? Because again, in real time it's true. This is not just like hyperbole, like we do this. So with someone, for example, who has a background like that, it's like we'll get to the MST part when the time
Hmm.
comes. But the fact is, as a man, sometimes you have to hear it from a man. You have to hear the fact that, because again, I don't see myself any different, but I know that people see things. And sometimes me being vulnerable, me talking about things, me sharing things, it sets the mood of like, well, crap, if you're saying this, again, I don't know how people see me, but if I can talk about this, then it almost kind of makes, it levels the playing field for a man to understand. And we've had that. Because I'm prior law enforcement, I talk to every single law enforcement person that we work with. If someone's in law enforcement, they're like, you know what, I want to talk to DP. We'll jump on a call. We'll do a Zoom. We'll do a three-way. Why? Because I understand the process in that world. I understand trauma. I understand those issues. So our ability to do that, right, and work together, that's the beauty of this too. So it's one of those
Hmm.
things where, like, trust me, Amy could do what she does all day, and Reggie, but maybe it's the way I said something or the way Reggie said something. So the fact that we have no ego of like, oh, I have the no, 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 no. We work together and it helps. So in your case, right, the fact is you're suffering from this daily. And here's the fact: it might be a thing where he shows up and all he has to start doing is just listening because you ain't ready for
Hmm.
this yet. And the fact is, maybe when someone is in a dark place, what they need is someone to sit with them and be with them to just give them grace and space. Honor that journey because you're not ready, but at least you're here. And like, hey, look, you hang around some smart people, you finna learn something. You hang around some rated people, you finna get rated.
Yeah.
You hang around people that know how to talk uncomfortably truth, facts, and things. You're gonna eventually get comfortable talking about it. Because again, it's if you see like, hey, we'll go back and forth, we'll get real deep. Like, God damn, it's heavy. I'm like, nah. But then we'll switch it up. But the point is, we have to go there because if you can't articulate these things, you're not gonna get rated. The VA's
Well,
messed
and I
up,
would
that you
say,
messed up.
I would add too, is that what I have found with a lot of men is that it's exactly what DP says when he talks about like, hey, I can talk to you, you can open up, we can have this conversation and be on our way. But then when you go to a Wednesday night, it never fails. It's so funny. I always now I warn people like, look, it's gonna seem as though DP knows your story, but there's thousands of clients DP doesn't know your story. When he speaks, he's speaking in general. He's speaking in general because your story is like so many other veterans out there. So when he is able to talk about men who have, and he talks about different scenarios and different situations of men who have gone through this or men that have been sexually assaulted. And then when a man hears that from another man, that like, oh wow, there's other people too, or oh wow, other people have talked about this too, or like you've actually talked to them, they told you their story, and it makes them feel like, oh, I can't tell you how many times we've been on Wednesday night calls where I think one time we had three males just out of nowhere.
All MST.
Um, they were all my clients, but all of them just said like hey, I'm one, after a female had said it.
Boom.
And so, hey, Vernon. Um, and so I think, sometimes having, just like DP said, sometimes it's just like listening until you feel ready. The one guy that I talked to, there was just something. He said, I don't know. I had been in for like 2 years and nothing happened. I just started getting depressed. Like, I don't, and I'm like, can you think back to like, was it a holiday? Did somebody pass? Did you whatever? And then so you start talking to him, and he literally was like, no, I just I don't know. I don't know. And then so those are opportunities where maybe I use a story that somebody else told me, and then all of a sudden he's quiet and he starts crying and he's like, "How did you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I
and,
never
and
even
and giving
thought."
people the opportunity to understand that, hey, again, we bring the comments and we chat. Our classes are very much like this as well.
Mm-hmm.
But the point is, like, be you. Turn your camera off. You don't have to be on our
Yeah.
Zoom with your camera on. And
Mm-hmm.
again, giving people the opportunity of saying, look, here's the reality. If we're going to do an MST class specifically on PTSD, here's a few requirements. Make sure you're alone. Go to your car, go to your closet, because we're going to talk about things, you're going to trigger things, and I don't need you to be uncomfortable in a situation or a place. And we've had folks where it's
Yeah.
like, look, I got to step out, I can't right now. That's
Yep.
fine. The point in his
Yep.
hand is like, hey, even if you could just make it through half the class today. But the point is, at some point, you'll be able to go there, tell your truth, and be empowered that you're not the only one who's gone through this, but giving people the opportunity and the freedom to feel. Because as men,
Mm-hmm.
especially, right, to the question, as men, especially, we've just been trained and indoctrinated in not showing weakness. We've been trained and indoctrinated culturally and by work and service that we provide, that we tribe, that we're this, that we're that. Here's the facts. I showed you great pictures on our website of the things we used to do, but we are veterans now. You're not in the Air Force, you're not in the Navy, you're not a Marine,
Yes.
you're not a Ranger, you're not a cook. You are just a veteran who lived a life and has a 214 to show and prove it. So now
Mm-hmm.
how do you live? Because the mechanisms that how we survive, it's literally incorrect. So one of the things I talk about is the military has set us up for failure post service. Because the fact that, for example, and we got Brother Vernon in the building as well, who jumped on in, because Lord knows I'm gonna need him to pray for us, our resident chaplain. But I'll tell you this, and this is also another point. So from Vernon, from his age bracket and his years of service to now, here's the reality. Wars have been fought in different eras: Vietnam, Korea, Gulf, Iraq, Afghanistan. And what got us through all of those conflicts is grit, the man to your left, woman to your right, all those different things, suck it up, drive on, push through the pain, all the hua stuff. But that stuff is very finite in time. You can't run an aircraft but so long until you have to refuel and do maintenance. You cannot run
Right.
units but so long until you pull them back. Ships have to be pulled back. Units have to be pulled back. So the fact is, we know how to do the business of warfare. We know it happens in volleys. Vernon, you're gonna go up, you're gonna breach, you're gonna do something. After that, peel left. Reggie, you got the point. And then Reggie, you're gonna do this, you're gonna do that. Set EOD. When you're done, peel right. Amy moves in. So we
Mm-hmm.
know how we do that in combat, but in real life, post service, we keep that mentality running for 10, 20, 30, 40 years. And it's not real. We don't know how to ask for help. We know how to ask for air support, for bombs, for freaking equipment, but we don't know how to ask for help for things beyond what's HUA. Because I can be here and be like, guys, you guys want to see a cool trick? My knee pops 20 different ways after jumping out of an aircraft 200 times. But it's not cool to say that as a man, I experience sexual assault and I have intimacy problems. And maybe the things that I have to do to feel are grossly inappropriate or depraved by standards of
Mm-hmm.
society. The fact that I have addictions or do things to just feel something, or I put myself in situations to just accelerate my heart rate because I don't feel anymore. So the fact of the matter is, I don't know how to ask for help. I can brag about my scars physically, but I won't brag that going to the post office or the mailbox is a hassle. So creating an environment and a space where we can talk about this, normalize this, right? This ain't a push-up situation. This is about being real, that it's not push-ups that will fix the problem. We have awareness. We know the numbers. We know the stats. Now, how do we get past that? And it's about literally
Mm-hmm.
saying, hey, look, you have Reggie. He's an African-American middle-aged man, disabled, traumatic events, but he's still here. You have Amy, middle-aged, mixed, traumatic events, MST. She's still here. She's serving. Vernon, served, trained, led men, and regardless of that, still serving. So the point at hand is, it doesn't matter where you come from, what your background in life is. It's about creating a space for someone to Lenlen's question, who feels ashamed to report. Like, we're not even ready to go there. You know what I'm saying? It's like we got to put the building blocks. We need to just normalize the fact that we are broken people, literally living camouflage to the world. Because the last thing I'll say to this is the way you survive when you are literally injured is you just hide it.
Yep.
And when you look at what's happening right now from a mental health perspective, where people are literally checking out left and right, it's because you never see it coming. I promise you, as someone who's been to that point, no one would have ever seen it coming. When those calls come, Vernon knows what time it is. It's like I just talked to that brother the other day. What are you talking about? We just literally were at a comedy show. We literally were just doing a thing because it's camouflage, baby. I've been camouflaging since 1967, 1947, 1997, 1987. Whenever you left service, you've been camouflaging. And all the people know is, you know what? That Vernon, he's a high speed individual, hardworking, always on time, polished boots and all that. What's his favorite color? Uh, what is his favorite coffee? Black. Tell me something personal. Uh, what's Reggie's wife's name? Uh, give me something more. Well, that's right, because we don't share. We don't open. We don't let people in because guess what? You can't hurt what you can't touch.
Yeah.
You can't call out what you can't see. But the problem
Yeah.
with us is that ghillie suit that you use to get through the world, it fools everybody else. But you can't bullshit a bullshitter. Like, come on now. You can't bullshit me because our ability, to Amy's point, to talk to someone, like, how did you know that? You think you're the only one who's tried to fucking check out? You think you're the only one who's revved the car up on a rainy day and thought to themselves, man, if I whip this shit one time real hard, it's over? Trust me, I know what that is. You got a brand new bike and you're 47? Okay. Okay. A Ducati. Yeah. I know exactly what the fuck you're doing. Stop it. I know, you know what I'm saying? You can't bullshit a bullshitter. We know pain. We know how to mask pain. We know these things.
Hmm.
So it's literally saying, hey, I see you. The world may not see you, but trust me, real recognizes real. But in this case, hurt recognizes hurt. I know
Yeah.
what it's like to hurt. I know what pain feels like, to be detached. Depression, many people have it. But when you're depressed and detached, no one will care. Nobody would matter if I'm not here. So we do these shows because guess what? I need to see Capri's face. I want to see Jerry's name. I want to see, like, if someone's waiting, like, oh shit, like, trust me, I will know if you're not around and I'll reach out to you. Amy's over here sick, not feeling well. What the fuck's wrong with you? Your phone broken? Like, god damn it, he's gonna fucking come and find me. Because guess what? For me, when I was in that point, it was one of those things of like, you know what, Vernon? If I checked out, no one would notice, no one would care, and the world would be better without me. Well, that's a hard self conversation to have when Amy keeps blowing my fucking phone up, asking me what the fuck I'm doing, where I'm at. Think about how many stories we've heard of someone saying, Reggie, you don't understand. I had everything ready to check out. And you freaking called right before I was freaking ready to do something. And you just asked something. And I felt attached again. I felt a part again. I felt part of something again. So all this long diatribe I'm giving is back to the original point that Amy said. That's why we have to tell our clients the things that we're dealing with. I do not agree with the whole don't get too no. Yes, I understand not get too personal, but you have to understand that we understand pain. We deal with those things too. And to get you to the finish line, you have to know that we are disabled veterans helping disabled veterans. So it's
Hmm.
different than other businesses of like, well, here's some advice. Don't tell people what you're doing. No. We're in the business of being real. That shit is what your VSO and your lawyer and the other person who didn't help you did. You can't reach them. You can't reach out. You don't know what's going on. Stop. Look, you'll be all right. 1 week, Richard didn't get back to you. Look, take a chill pill. See you Wednesday night. You'll be all right. Like, you know what I mean? Let's go ahead and figure it out a few different ways. So I hope that kind of gives some context. But to lend to your brother, just invite him. Bring him down. Have him sit. How we start something? The same way we all did. We'll just sit in a foxhole dark and just shoot the shit. And when he's ready, we'll go. We'll talk. How did you do it? And little by little, we begin to empower and help each other. So that's the difference. Um,
Yep.
I want to introduce one of our amazing veterans that we have with us. I showed this picture earlier with the round brown, so I don't want to look him in the eye too much because he might make me do some push-ups because I dropped some f-bombs. So there's that part. But he is our resident VNCC chaplain, disabled Air Force veteran who also did a stint on the other side. So we won't talk about that too much because Amy might get mad. Vernon Cooper is in the building. My hi to the people.
Hello, hello, everybody. I just want to say that tonight is great, man. This is some good stuff. I think that the three of you have really popped the top on a lot of things because for me, one of the things that I've always said, and I've been in sales, you know, a lot of my career, and so I will say this: there are people out there who will periodically be bothered that you're human, and sometimes we as disabled veterans, we don't get the fact that we are in fact broken vessels. And when you're working with another broken vessel, please give them the same grace that you want them to have for you. Uh, and this really has been great tonight because you guys have said some things that we don't ordinarily get a chance to say on Wednesday nights. And you know, I've sometimes I've wanted to just say to the masses out there, like when you're on TikTok, and you know somebody is wanting to know, are we scammers? Really? Every one of us been 100% P&T. Every one of us have second level degrees, master's degrees. We could all be in corporate America doing whatever the heck we want to do.
Oh, hold on, Vernon. You trying to tell me that you're not trying to game the system just to get $3,000 a month? Come on now, what you gonna do in corporate America to make more than 3 grand?
Well, uh, I will say to you, and that's a great question, DP. The last psych exam that I had, I looked the doc in her face, and I told the doctor what kind of money that I personally could make. I'm trained in insurance. I've been in insurance for over 30 years.
Mm.
You might say that in actuality, now that I look at it, how about 40?
Mm,
40 years. Because I got my first license in 1982 when I was still on active duty.
mm.
And quite frankly, I've done underwriting, sales, and claims. And I still have active licenses to sell every product that you can purchase with the exception of securities. And I was trained to
What
do.
year was that?
Oh, I got
You
these
said what did you
licenses
start it?
in 1982.
Man, look, that's what I was doing in '82.
Thank you.
You knew it was coming, Brendan. You knew it was coming.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
As soon as I was like, well, goddamn, how far? Look at little DP, baby DP. He's like, is this a mic? Is this where I go live? Mama, don't this time microphone.
But you see, therein lies the beauty of what we do here. Because to your point earlier, from 24 to the 80s, I just had my 67th birthday. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and thank God for that.
Mm-hmm.
But the long and the short of it is, I still could go to work in corporate America if I chose to. But like I said, when I looked the psych doctor in her face, and I said to her, "Who in their right mind wants to not make 15, $20,000 a month? Who would trade that for three?"
Hello. And there's a
So,
good point to be said because again, it's not about the money because
Mm.
that's
right,
not what it is. Trust me, there's a whole lot more income potential earning power that we have doing other things. But the fact is, this is our reality. But it
yeah,
has to be even addressed. Of like, look, I'm not here for no 3 grand. The hell, I was making 3 times that at one point, or what, 4 times, or 10 times, or the ability to do
right,
these things. But here's the reality: we had a conversation. To Vernon's point, all this calamity and disaster is happening. Let's say in Florida. Well, that's Vernon's business right there. Insurance, going down, survey, do a thing. His mind was like, oh man, I could go down there and do some work, honey. I'm about to go down and do a few weeks and bring back some of the bacon. Body's like, where the hell you think you're going? Come on now. The mind is strong, but the body's like, hey, look, about that idea, real quick. Why don't you go ahead and sit on that couch? You're getting a little bit too ahead of yourself there. Let me go ahead and shut this leg down real quick. Damn it, drop leg.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Ah!
You know what? You're exactly right. And that's what she said, honey. And I'll tell you what, man. I have I have the sweetest wife in the world. And I'm sorry, guys, if you think yours is. I'm not gonna rob you. I believe that I have the sweetest wife in the world,
Hello.
and she brings me back to reality. And she says to me, "Honey, we don't need the money."
Mm.
Okay, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in my mind, I'm saying I didn't say I needed it. What I wanted.
And Vernon, and let's call a spade, right? It also
Yeah.
goes into the point of like, but this is also what I do, what I did, and sometimes it's
Yes.
like when you look at these movies, like why is there a Rambo 7 and a blah blah? Because sometimes like or Rocky whatever, sometimes you just want to feel like you used to feel at one point.
Yep.
Sometimes it's and again, first time I'm saying it like this, but I promise you, let's say there's wreckage and calamity has happened, tornado, and now here comes Vernon doing his job, inspecting, doing a thing, and he's done it since literally you saw baby DP doing his thing. But what people don't realize is when you do something that many years at that level of mastery, there's
Oh yeah.
just something about the fact of just being out there, feeling the wind after a
Yep.
hurricane, literally the fact that there's complete chaos, but in that chaos, Vernon's seeing literally like the Matrix numbers. He's looking at estimates. In his mind, he's literally just doing what he's done so often that sometimes you just miss the ability to do that thing that you took for granted. Like if you've never lost the ability to do something, when you lose it, you miss it. You miss just walking. You miss just standing. You miss being able to feel. You miss being able to run. You miss being able to stand on top of rubble where a house used to be with your pad and survey the area and just do what you did. And maybe sometimes it's not about Vernon needs the money, but man, it would feel good to just one more time, just walk up to a wreck and just do what you used to do for just one time old sake. And that is priceless. And that's what people don't realize because, again, honey, yes, it's not about the money, but I would push back where it's like, yeah, but I would like to just feel like myself again, just for one more time. Like, you don't need to do that, DP. I just want to feel like I'm not all these other things that now is my new reality. And that's the part that we have to normalize with people that if that's something you can relate to, we all feel that way. But that story, when have you told it? Because that's powerful. But all people see is just a monetary fact. No.
Yeah.
Well, and DP on the other side of that is you walk around and you see the destruction, and an insurance company is there to make you whole again. And we know the struggle. Being first responders, we know what it's like to see destruction because we've seen it. But to be able to hand someone a check so that they know that they can now return to somewhat of a normal life
Mm-hmm.
and to get the thank you or to get a hug from a little old lady,
Mm-hmm.
who's crying and telling you, I, I sure do appreciate this. I didn't know how I was going to make it, you know, because when you do that, you get firsthand experience at knowing that you've helped somebody, you've made a
Mm.
difference. And so for me, What we do here, that's what I'm doing. I'm doing the same thing. My gifting is actually being fulfilled when I'm doing this.
Mm.
And so from that standpoint, a lot of us, when we found out that Muhammad Ali had Parkinson's disease,
Mm.
and then he was still in the ring,
Mm-hmm.
and we were like, why? But to your point, but you just explained. See, when you
Yeah.
master whatever it is that you master, and someone tells you that you have to give that up, when right here you
Mm-hmm.
still have the ability to do it and to be not just good, but to be great at it.
Mm-hmm.
When I think about all of the people
Mm-hmm.
that I have taught how to do the things in insurance that I have taught them to do, and when I think about all of the food that I've helped to put on tables because of what I have here, brother,
Mm-hmm.
that is absolutely amazing. Reggie put on a post maybe a week and a half ago, and it was two young men, last name Tate,
Mm-hmm.
and they were talking about what their father did to them. And I'm sitting there, I'm blown away because what those men don't know is I trained their father
Mm-hmm.
in boot camp. The first night that their father came in, he walked into my office, introduced himself, and he propositioned me. He said to me, "Sir, I am the state chess champion. And um, if any of your buddies like to play chess, what we'll do is I'll lose a few. And then when the pot gets big enough, I'll wipe the table and you and I can split it 50-50."
Mm.
And I'm like, the stone's on this brother. So I made him my dorm chief. I'm like, dude, with a mind like that, hey man, he threw caution to the wind, and because that's what he was good at. And I'm like, he knows no fear, none, no fear, and that's what he taught his sons.
Mm.
And some of, I mean, just when you think about the impact that we have on veterans' lives, I've had an opportunity over the holidays to just think about the veterans who are sitting on their claims or who are sitting on the lack of filing claims. Because we're here, we make ourselves available to help you, the individual out there, to
Mm-hmm.
help you move from zero to something.
Mhm.
Well,
Mm.
if I'm doing that and I'm helping you, two things have happened. Look at what you left on the table all these years,
Mm-hmm.
but also look in the mirror at yourself and ask yourself, why? Because I did. When I look at the money that I left on the table for 30 years
Mm.
and I think about it, I'm like, okay, that's over $1 million. Hmm, what could I do with $1 million? A lot.
Mm-hmm.
I can travel whenever I want to. I mean, I still can, but I can travel even more if I wanted to, you
Mm-hmm.
know? But think about how that would affect the average life.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, let's be real here. Most of us cannot do what we want to do when we want to do it.
100%.
Mhm.
And most of our veterans who are former enlisted troops, you are used to living at or just above the
Mm-hmm.
poverty line.
Oh, 100%. And it
And
doesn't have to be that way.
that's right. But it starts here.
Yep.
And you have to ask yourself, how long am I going to have this same mentality?
Mm-hmm.
And here we come along and we say, hey, we can help you. Because if I can help you with an additional $1,000 a month, tax free,
Mm-hmm.
tax free now, or I can help you with $2,000 a month, tax free,
Mm-hmm.
or $3,000 a month, tax free. Are you telling me that that won't improve your life?
Mm.
And if that is what you're telling me, I've got some oceanfront property
Hello.
right next door that I'm selling real cheap.
Mm. Mm. And I think that's the beauty of having these conversations. To Bernard's point, even beyond like on Wednesday, it's very structured in sense as orientation or it's claims, preparation for exams and so forth. But again, hopefully one of these stories kind of makes sense. But if you really listen, it's all the same in some shape, fashion, or form. What we're talking about, and being able to redefine yourself again. I reached out to Vernon and I said, hey, I really think that with everything that's happening in the world, the one thing from military that I always remember is the chaplains were the place to go, the place to be, and it was a place of being safe. And why don't we have one of those? Why don't we do that thing, right? And it's like, okay, what do you come? What's DP up to now? And unbeknownst to me, to Vernon's point, he's like, hey, I've been looking for a way to serve and kind of work in that capacity, but how, when, and all the particulars, and then here comes this conversation, and here we are. So, and the point is, like, this came, daggone near, months and months and months and months since Vernon's been here, almost a year. But it's the thing
Mhm.
where today you're just watching, but now we have a chaplain, and tomorrow we have something else. And before you know it, a tribe, a community grows with different requirements. Not everybody's going to be, advisor or coach. Like, no, you want to be part of a team. I get that. But how do you effectively be part of the team? You know, we grow as we grow, we begin to fill in the void. You know, but to that point there, and I'll ask Reggie how you feel about this. But I'll tell you, to Vernon's point there, I spent a whole career traveling in the air. As an air marshal, I was traveling on the road. I was always in aircraft. I was always literally going to Germany, London, and Paris, and Jordan and Turkey, and all these places were like akin to going down to the next county. It'd be just as simple as that. It's like, where you going? I'm going to San Antonio. Where you going? I'm going to Austin. You know what I mean? What are you doing? I was going to Paris. Like, what? I'm like, dude, it's like the 40th time. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's the glitz and glamour is gone. I want to get there, have my routine. We get there, we PT, we eat, we sleep, we get up, we PT, we eat, we roll out. It's a whole thing. And fast forward now, the part that I will say when Vernon said that, because it's funny because I'm saying Vernon's story, but I'm thinking of my story, which is now I have a service dog. And when you do something right, like I can walk into an airport and I can detect every air marshal, law enforcement, undercover person, because again, it's my skill, is what I did. So when you know how to blend in, you know how to pick who's blending in. All right. And I say that to say that now I don't travel as much. I don't do that thing. We're gonna go to Colorado. It's the first time I get on an aircraft in 2023. But what people don't see is like I'll go to an airport. I'll go to an airport, and I'll land someplace, or I'll get there sometimes. And I'll just sit there because just for that 1 minute, it feels like I'm back where I used to be when
Yeah,
I didn't have that. And now I'm sitting here with a service dog, and I'm seeing people traveling and doing stuff, and it's like, man, I used to do this every fucking day, and now I can't. But for this one trip, guess what? I feel good. But what
yeah,
people don't see is that I just like I don't like telling people when I'm traveling because I don't want to be rushed. I want to sometimes just get there and I just sit there and I just sit there and I just watch and I remember what it used to feel like when there was someone sitting in front of me who would say, "Hey, I'm gonna get some coffee. What do you want?" And now I'm just sitting there with a service dog, looking at teams traveling and doing stuff.
yeah,
So the fact is, like, just for 1 minute to just feel what it feels like to just be able to do a thing or
yeah,
remember what something felt like. How do you explain that?
Hmm.
How do you explain the fact that for shows and videos and all that, I just wish I could just take off and take a suitcase and do something because it was my life and it
Yeah.
was cut short.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So for other men out there who feel this, where I can't be a carpenter and I can't do this thing and I cannot do that other thing, we understand.
Yeah.
But being able to literally have the conversation and feel the emotions, because that's the truth. But for that one little glimpse of time in that airport, everything feels right. With all the chaos and all the commotion, it feels right, but it has to be when I'm alone because that's how I literally lived my life for a long time by myself, traveling to an airport. And it sucked at first, but it became the norm. And now it's like, no, it doesn't work. I have to be, if I go for a work trip, that's when it's like, this feels right, you know? And I'll just sit there sometimes and I won't even rush because if I missed a flight, I don't care because I've been through all that. Miss a flight, catch another flight. It's cool. I'm not rushing anywhere. I'm on the job. I'm on the clock. We'll catch the next one. Reggie, on your side of the house, what are some of your thoughts?
Um, wow, wow, bruh.
I blame
That
Vernon for coming on and bringing all this emotional shit. let me bring back goddamn baby DP. Where is baby DP? Jesus, golly, there it is. Let's go. Focus back on baby DP.
man, oh man, it feels like the therapy hour, right? All of us got something.
Right.
And I can see each each of us have something that we experience as trauma in our lives. Amy has hers. Brother Vernon, you have yours. Brother DP, you got yours, brother. All in all, we share something that is common, is that trauma that we dealt with. And Amy has the, I can't even say the name, but the Japanese name for our team is we're basically broken
Kitsugi.
pieces.
Kintsugi.
Kasuki, there we go.
Kintsugi.
Kensuki, that's my dyslexia, by the way. Um,
But you
but
did it.
I
Mm-hmm.
did it. Oh
And
snaps!
it's recorded.
Yes, there's hope. There's hope. But we're broken pieces trying to put ourselves back together. And I can speak on my end because I've been in sales for years. Banking from Bank of America, did that. Enterprise, I did that, and literally had to step away from a corporate America job. And I remember there were certain days where the pain in my legs was so intense when I'm on a car lot that I remember I had to take off a week. A whole week I had to take off because the pain was so bad. And I was hobbling around a lot, and people was like, "What is wrong with you?" But they would never know because of the different things I did when I was in the Navy, because I used to duck dive the aircraft every day, all day, crawl underneath the jets, checking the oils, checking the drop tanks, all that back and forth every day. But in lieu of that, there, as you get older, things are not the same. From sprinting, from being 100 dash guy when I had a scholarship to Clemson University. A lot of people didn't know that for track and field. That didn't happen. Um, but in lieu of that, there, as I got older, I could not do the same thing as I used to. Um, through it all, through those injuries and through different traumas. So with that, I ended up having to step away from a job making six figures a year into basically creating my own business at the time. And it got to a point where I got to a point I didn't want to be around a lot of people. And unfortunately, in sales, you have to be around a lot of people, especially when it comes down to real estate. End up having to give the reins over to my significant other itself for that business. And I can get really vulnerable. I'm not gonna get too vulnerable. I can get pretty much vulnerable. I literally had just tomorrow give my whole entire work, my craft that I busted my tail for, put pretty much a lot of my retirement into my money into organization. I'm literally having to give over as a founder because of things going different directions. And it
Yeah.
hurts from the fact that you put so much of your time, your energy, your spiritual equity into something that you feel like Moses because you're not going to reach the promised land with it. And it hurts like hell. And a lot of us, a lot of working professionals who do it all day long, especially come out of real estate. And you know, DP, we do the classes over there, and a lot of them they put a little suit on, they wear some type of attire, this big facade, like everything's fine, but in lieu of it, they're behind suffering, and I can tell they are. They just do a good job of hiding it, camouflaging it. Don't want to let nobody know. Well, if I put this out there, I'm gonna look like I'm crazy, or I'm gonna look like I don't have my stuff together, and really you just painting this picture and you are suffering, but not only you suffering, their wife is suffering, the husband suffering, the children are suffering, you're not getting along, sleeping in separate bedrooms, not in the same household, not even getting along, not even been intimate in years, having ED issues, having to get different devices to keep yourself up, and you're ashamed about anybody knowing because you're less of a man, less of a woman, and you're basically hiding between that shadow, because that's more of the big things that they're saying woke people using is that shadow self, those demons that you're hiding within that you're scared to display upon people or let out because you feel like less of a person. You feel like
Mhm.
that child back in that room naked with no pamper on like a little baby if somebody finds out about it, and you're at your most vulnerable moment,
Yeah.
and you don't want nobody to ever find out. And that's what hurts. A lot of us do it. And I can say it to myself, there's things I suffer from. And I literally, by being on this team here, it's it's not the money. Trust me, it's not the money. Yes, you gotta make a living, yes, but it's much more the camaraderie,
Mhm.
much more us being a family here. Because of course, there's like I said, I could try to stay in real estate itself and do a thing and all that stuff, but end of the day, it's much more what are you giving to people? What are you putting back out there? What are you going to leave instilled upon people when you're in doing something that's much more than just a calling? It's a spiritual crusade. It's your essence. What you're going to do. Like you said, DP, the 10,000 people that you touched. There's so many people, even beyond the 10,000 people that you touched, not just the family, but generation to the next generation, that you can't put a price on that.
Yeah.
There's no money amount you can put on that. Yeah, we gotta make a living. True, I get that. But end of the day, it's about really touching lives, and this is the reason why I'm here. Because a lot of people said, "Man, won't you, do this in real estate?" I get it. That's cool. But in the day, I want to be much more. We want to be much more something than just a title.
Mhm.
Much more what we have. Our task. Oh, I did this. I was an air marshal, or I was a insurance salesman, or I was this and this. What are you past that title? Who are you? Who are you past your time in the military? Who are you as that person? Can you answer who you are to your deepest core? When you take out all that stuff away, all that title away, you're facing your inner self. That's the biggest thing that you want to impact is who you are and be able to answer that question genuinely. Not what nobody else said, not what you read in no book, not what you've been indoctrinated with by people, but who you are. And for me, I can only speak for me. I can't speak for nobody else in here. But that's one of the things I want to say. If I leave here tomorrow, that I can say, look, I did everything I could do to say I was true to myself and I was honest with everybody.
Mhm.
And that's what you really got to be. So, yeah, I digress though. So,
No, and I think again that has to be said. But I got one question for you, because
mm,
tableau is something we do that's pretty cool. So I love hearing people talk, in the sense of like we paint the picture and stuff. But tell me, how does it feel for you to be in a place where, unlike enterprise and other places where you worked, and people took your intellectual property, and people took your ideas, and people took what you brought to the table and made it their own without giving you the credit or promoting you? How does it feel to be in a place where you don't have to feel that way, that you can be yourself, you can create, and not have to worry about will my ideas be used to make someone else better without me? Because in other places, right, it's like, well, someday it'll come back around. The organization is growing. They know that my work is vital and they'll recognize me, and it didn't happen. And the next company, the same thing, and it didn't happen. And company after company, it's Reggie's ideas and Reggie's heart and Reggie's hard work and Reggie's time that gets bastardized and used for the gain of others, and Reggie goes to the next place, hoping that maybe someone will come around and give some kind of recognition to say Reggie did that. Something as simple as that, that recognition. How does it feel for you to be in a place where you can be seen for a change?
Um, I can say appreciate it finally.
Mm,
Appreciate it, and somewhere that you can people can be grateful for you and not feel used
Yeah.
or betrayed. Uh, because you work with people so long, even the closest loved ones, and you put everything into it. You put your time, you put your effort, countless hours, countless days, your own money. You put everything on the line, almost your soul. You put everything out there, and being here, I can seriously say I feel like there's loyalty here, without a doubt, no second guessing. I can be myself without being judged, without being talked about behind my back, in a bad way. Of course, we talk jokes and crack jokes, but there's a difference between that.
Mhm.
mm,
When somebody's talking about you, you can feel it. It's a certain thing that you feel like
mm,
you know it. You can pick it up. You can sense it. And but then after that, it's like, okay, when somebody takes your stuff, takes your intellectual properties, then you just feel like and I don't want to go, you feel like an MST person, somebody who's raped you, and you're laying there in your own stuff,
mm,
and somebody just walked away and just took everything you got, and you just laying there, and you're having to get yourself up off the ground, get yourself self-care, and to be able to rehabilitate yourself, not only emotionally but also spiritually, because you are so damaged that you don't want to trust anybody no more. So you become antisocial, and you don't want to be around nobody because you're scared somebody else going to do this to you again,
Yeah.
betray you again.
mm,
And then a lot of men and women as well, you become numb and you scared to show emotion to people because you have felt that feeling where if I show my emotion to somebody, they're going to call me weak. They're going to call me less than a person, and they're going to take advantage of me again. And you don't want that to happen to you
mm.
Yep.
or be belittled.
Exactly.
So
Yep.
being vulnerable, basically, you were taken advantage of,
Absolutely.
and then eventually you get less vulnerable and less vulnerable. And when you start to look at the trajectory of somebody's jobs and career over time, you realize that things are not going the way they used to. Why is it that I'm still in the same career path and every like 5 jobs later, performance is worse, things are not happening the way they used to? But Reggie just literally gave the reason, because that first job you were bushy tailed and bright eyed and you trust and you were vulnerable and you were open and you gave everything and all the ideas, and you were betrayed. So you closed up a little bit and went to another job. But that job didn't get 100% of Reggie. They got 80. And the next one got 60. And the next one got 40. And the next one got 20. And it's the same job, but it's not the same Reggie. And then you wonder, why is it things are not happening the same? You can't compare 100% Reggie to 20% Reggie. So when you start to look at that decline, it is a variety of things, but it's also self preservation. Because
Yeah.
to the violation of ideas, of creativity, of gifts, of what you bring to the table, how do you go back out there to get hurt again and be abused again? And this happens in many different ways, but I think it's a powerful message, and that's why I asked Reggie that, because that's the key that some veterans don't even know how to explain. Imagine if what Reggie just said, coupled with the fact that you're seeing a CMP provider, I mean, a CMP exam, and you're talking mental health. And it's like, doc, you have to understand the reason I'm unemployable maybe it's because of the fact that I gave and all these things that I dealt with, my PTSD, my experiences began to close me off, and I just cannot open up anymore. I can't trust. I can't establish friendships. I don't mingle with people. I don't go to the birthday parties. I don't go to the office functions. There was a time when I was on top of the world, and now I can barely hold a job. I went to school for this. I have experience in this. But the fact is that 10% Reggie is not 100% Reggie. But how do you explain that when we're talking about a psychological, emotional, and spiritual decline that happens on an occupational level, not to count even on the social and interpersonal level? So these are examples where this is what the secret sauce is, to put it in a way, of sequencing things, right? Because like, well, what does this have to do with anything? Well, literally, that's exactly what this conversation of claims is. Because here's the thing, right? And again, to show an example in real time, Reggie's talking about something, but what he's doing is tableau. Tableau is painting pictures because as people, we have to blah blah blah. You're pontificating, you're talking, but you're not saying anything really. You're making a picture, right? So it's like, okay, that's cool. But hey, Reggie, tell me this. Let me ask you a very direct question. How does that make you feel? That was a whole different response that Reggie gave to that question versus the first question. So if the first question is Reggie going to a CMP exam and just saying all these things, you're not saying anything. But the last answer that Reggie gave told a different story of I
Yeah.
felt that I was literally taken apart, violated, right? How do I use these words? The only words that make sense to me is like an MST victim, I was literally assaulted in this capacity, right? Because we don't have the words to even say the story, right? So then rewind, it's like, so basically what you're saying is you were vulnerable and were taken advantage of. And because of that, you now do not have the ability to open up anymore because you don't trust. But before I said that, what you could only articulate to come close to that is to say, I don't want to say this because it sounds wrong, but I feel like it's almost like an MST because that's the only words you have. So this is an example to be able to kind of touch the point where when we're helping a veteran, even internally, like, no, I know what you're saying. I know what you're doing. It's just like, okay, that's cool. But let me ask you again, because you're doing this thing. But here is the point. How does it feel to be robbed of your gifts? That's the question. The response is what you heard. And the only way to explain it is I feel damn near like an MST victim where I trusted someone who took advantage, someone of authority, someone who was there to protect me, someone who was entrusted to lead me, and they violated me. And ever since then, my military career went to shit. Because guess what? Airman Lacey did not go to the next duty station 100%. You go 80%. They get 40%. They get 10%. And then you realize, why is it that you went from being a PT stud, high marking, all these awards, to literally being damn near UCMJ potential? Getting written up, not making things happen. Why? Because 100% Lacey died when that event happened. 100% Reggie died when he was violated of his intellectual property and abused. So understanding the nucleus of how to tell the story, of how to talk about this, that's a conversation that's never happened when you filed the claim. So you went in there, but you didn't say shit. I know what you thought you said, but this is what you need to understand that you're trying to say. So this is, while we're telling a story, we're knocking out different things, right? It's one of those things where it's like mastery comes to this level where I could literally tell you, watch, like Babe Ruth, I'm going to literally watch this. Nope. You know what I'm saying? Like Vernon can laugh because he's like, he knows exactly what I'm going at. He's just like, watch this. There goes DP. He's asking Reggie something. He's setting up Reggie and boom. Because it's not one of those things where it's like making an example. It's like, no, this is something we deal with. And hopefully Reggie's story helps somebody else. But if we're saying that we're good at something, it's not, oh, come sign up and do a thing. I'll show it to you right now. Right then and there. Live and direct. Because the fact is, I can call a shot. I'm going to put, you know what? Reggie, you're up next. So because I know exactly what he's going to say. And when he says, I'm like, I know what you're trying to say. But is it this? And that release of like, that's it. That's what I feel like. So when a veteran has that, like, Amy, how the hell did you get me to say that? because that's exactly what I have not had the words to say. And sadly, with veterans, we're almost like babies. We do not have the language to explain to the VA what we're dealing with. And in the absence of words, what do? We lash out violently and use incoherent noises. So you go to a CMP and you thought I did what I was supposed to do, Vernon, but all I could say was I'm just fucking tired of this shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, there's emotions there, but I cannot articulate to you that, like Reggie said, as a man, I am unable to. My identity. As a woman, I'm lying to my husband. It's not that I'm not in the mood, it's that I can't trust you. Because you're wearing that fucking color again, and you don't know I'm a victim of military sexual trauma. And when you wear that shit, I am not in the fucking mood. And of course, it'd be my fucking luck that your favorite color is my triggering color. And the cologne you wear reminds me of that piece of shit first sergeant who did this thing. How do we even begin to unpack that? That's a whole different ball game. So, like, when it comes down to a claim, like, man, look, you're not even ready to go file a claim. You need to go. You need to understand that there's levels to a conversation of here's to Vernon's point. Here's facts. Can a veteran go from 0 to 100? Yup. Yes, it's possible. It happens all the time. Literally, if you understand how to do something, this concept. Oh, the V is not gonna. I went from 0 to 100 first shot. Done. Got called back by the VA for recertification. Kept my 0 to 100. I didn't do that whole thing because I understood what I needed to talk about. And other people have been able to do the same thing. Vernon tried for a long time to do a thing, and then he becomes part of an organization like this. And here's another part too, which is we joke and we do things, but it's about no ego. Vernon is an elder. He's a seer. He's a provider. He's a veteran. But for him to be egoless and say I need to learn something because obviously you have something and know how to do something that I've not been able to do. And sometimes that's a problem. Being able to put your ego aside. Vernon's older than me, but it's not an age thing because if that's the game we're playing, that's ego. So you're saying you can't learn from someone younger than you? First of all, what is that about? But for some veterans, it's hard. What are you going to tell me about this thing? I was literally out there running up and down hills when you were itching your daddy's pants. Okay, and that's why you're still 30%.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So Vernon, on your side, what would you say regarding just that factor because we have older viewers as well, of putting the ego to the side? Because sometimes even that's the problem. Being too prideful to ask a question to get plugged in of like, well, what's this group going to do for me? Or why should I even get for help? Or what can you get? Like, I get all that, but that's ego talking. Can you talk to that point? Because obviously you were able to kind of get past that, but I'm sure there's someone out there who's like, you know that vibe.
Well, DP, I can honestly say that I learned really young to check my ego at the door. One of the things that I've always said, because I literally got into sales when I was about 26, 27 years old. And if I was the smartest person in the room, obviously I'm in the wrong room. Now that that has been liberating for me. I've always been a learner. I love to learn. But what I do know is that if I am the smartest person in the room, I need to go to another room because I cannot be challenged if I'm the smartest person in the room. With you guys, I don't care if you were still teenagers. I had children, I have grandchildren. Everybody teaches me something. So for me, uh, when I first got introduced to what VNCC does by being a part of a team with Amy. And then we have a break. And Amy is my leader. I love Amy. I love each of you guys. You create a fire in me. And I'm proud to say that I know you and that you're my family. When I talk to my sons, uh, one's an electrical engineer and the other one has an MBA. Uh, they're smart kids. I call them kids.
Mhm.
You know, one's 46, the other one's 42. So they're not kids. But I learn something from them every time I talk to them. When I talk to my grandchildren, I learn something from them. So I said that to say this. We've got veterans that are out there who are Vietnam vets. Fortunately for me, I didn't have to go to Vietnam, but I'm a Vietnam era vet. I joined the Air Force in 1974. 18-year-old kid, fresh out of school. And uh, so my mother was terrified that I might have to go to Vietnam. Fortunately for me, I didn't. But they're Vietnam vets who've been fighting the war ever since they came home.
Mhm.
And they've never been taken care of by the VBA. Why do we need programs like the Wounded Warrior program? Tell me why we need it. I'm watching a commercial today and it slaps me right in my face because I'm thinking, why do we need that? If the VBA was doing what they promised us that we would do when we went down to the MEP station, and no, the VBA wasn't there, a representative wasn't there to say, hey, we're going to do this. But the recruiter who recruited us had us to sign a contract. And in that contract, there were certain things said. And it didn't matter whether you were talking to someone who was younger than you or someone who was older than you. You bought the service that they were selling.
Mhm.
And we all served. If we had a lieutenant or a captain who was younger than us, didn't matter because most of us assumed that they knew more. So actually, you've been programmed to hear from people who are younger than you, and you took that with grace. So why not this? Because it's obvious if you served in Vietnam or any of the battles since Vietnam and you still are underrated,
Mm.
why do I care if a person is 20 or 30 years younger than me who helps me to achieve the ultimate goal of being 100% permanent and total? Because to Glenn's point, look at all of the additional benefits. Look at how your children benefit from your being at 100% permanent and total. Look at the gift that you give your children. I mean, let's think about it. What could I have done for my sons from an educational standpoint? There'd be no educational debt. If in 1982, when I first got off of active duty and went back to college to get my own degree, if I could have been at 100%,
Mhm.
look at the gift that I could have given them. So I don't care if you're 13. If you could have told me, hey, buddy, I'd have done it.
1982.
You're such a hater, man.
That's Nayeli.
Oh my no, I don't think that's even Nelly. I think Nelly's still not even
No, she
alive.
wasn't even there. This is a few folks. You know who you are. Look, we got to keep people on their toes. You know, uh, but as we begin to wrap up, we're gonna have some closing statements from everyone. I did ask Vernon as we close out the year. I want him to say a word and kind of really, raise a word of grace for what we've accomplished in 2022. The metrics that we're trying to accomplish and things we're trying to do. I would rather say I don't think they're going to be accurately measured by regular metrics or standards because we're operating on a whole different plane, doing something different. And regardless of what your belief system may be, I believe that we're definitely doing something that is different. And because of that, sequencing these amazing individuals together and those that will come to be a part of our cause and do what we do is truly how you start a movement, right? And I'm happy with the fact that if we can at least have a few people today, then let's help 5 people because maybe then we'll help another 5 and then another 5 and another 5. And before you know it, we have 10 and 20 and 100 and 1,000. So the fact is, the journey of 1,000 steps starts with 1. And as we
Yeah.
start 2023, there's a lot of things we learned in 22, some things that worked, some things that didn't work. It's all a lesson in the grand scheme of things. Hell, when it's all said and done in the rearview mirror, the failures of 2003 that we thought was going to take us out, we're still here. Everyone had something that was completely messed up in 2007. 1997 was the year that Vernon's business was good. It was open, going to be over. And look at us here still. So my point is sometimes when you zoom out, it's like, hey, in the moment, yeah, it seems like calamity abounds everywhere. But the fact is, 2022 is in the books. The wins, the losses, the draws, the lessons, it's a wrap. We did some good things. But 2023, I want to start it with intention and not expectation. So the intention for 2023 at the NCC is to serve, is to be of service. That's it. However, we can serve in different ways, both internally and externally, the opportunities will create themselves. The things that we need to be successful to execute will come to us. We're not chasing a thing. What we're chasing is veterans, people like us that are out there alone, who feel detached, who feel they don't have a home. And if we can create that, that's what we're about. And in the process, let's fix your claim. In the process, come take a class. Maybe you go into real estate. Maybe you go into a thing. Opportunities will present themselves when people are ready for that. But we have to at least build a house. And this is what we're doing. We're building a house. Nobody shares this part. So we're not like other organizations because, again, in the past 2 and change hours we have had here, we're sharing our stories. We're sharing our vulnerabilities. We're sharing our truth. We're sharing ourselves with the only expectation of literally just saying, we're like you all. The call to action is bring a friend. If this is impactful and this makes sense, show up. Join our Facebook group. Join our Wednesday night classes. Be a part of the conversation. That's what a club's about. That's what a tribe's about. Because that's the call to action. You want to buy a course, buy a class, do this, do that. That's great. Buy a t-shirt. Do all that will come. But we have to build a house. Once we build a house, all the things that come with it after will come. But that's the process. And it's not hard because I have to factor everything. I have to look at things. And sometimes I'm like, look, Vernon swoops in like the old sage Yoda that he is. And he's just like, hey, brother, just saw this and I'm sending it to you. I'm like, Vernon, if you knew how many damn times I'm feeling like quitting, like, Lord, I cannot do this shit. There's better men and women out there who could do this crap. But hell, if your ass keeps showing up, with your freaking, broken knees, then guess what? I got no choice. I got damn near senior citizens chasing me down. How what I look like, hitting a man with glasses? I can't do that. Vernon's a walking testimony. Got a liver and a kidney. given to him. I can't go ahead and have him exert himself any further than that. Come on now. Um, so that's really what it comes down to, right? As we recap 2022, we did a lot. We served a lot. Many veterans won claims. We helped a lot of people. People did stuff. Ratings went up. People found employment. We experienced all that stuff. But the biggest highlight of 2022 is we engaged. We touched people and we had moments. That's the only thing that matters. We made people feel like they were a part of something. And if people like in the comment section, for example, we had this comment that came up. This to me is what 2022 is. If someone feels more comfortable talking to people they just literally met online more than their significant other, that's a very powerful statement. That we've created an environment where people feel comfortable to finally be able to be understood is everything. So that's literally the highlight of 2022. Everything else is a byproduct of creating space like this. And for 23, the aim, the intention is to do it bigger, to do it better, to reach more. We literally were able to support over 250 families in the Philippines and provided for them the ability to have a holiday meal. We do that because it matters. We've been doing it for 3 years. You don't see too much about it because that's not the thing. It's we're touching lives and we're doing things. And the work eventually will create for us the things that we need. So I share those things because, as we get better and we begin to share more of what's happening behind the scene, we want you all to be a part of this conversation with us. We want you to join us. We want you to see the process that no one sees, how a few people with a crazy idea to serve veterans were able to create something and do something and serve and not have to worry about what the next person is doing because guess what? I don't mind what no one's doing. Do they copy us? Of course they do. But that's cool because that's on them. I'm too busy to copy them. I'd rather spend my evenings like this with people that matter and sharing and helping to touch lives. So that's what we've been doing. We want to do more of it, but we cannot do it by ourselves. So we invite you for the ride. Bring a friend, support us, tell people about what we're doing here. That's the biggest thing I can say. I cannot outspend the competition in the sense of people who do claims. I cannot beat other people when it comes to bottom dollars because, look, I'm literally in my pajamas for crying out loud. Okay? You know what I'm saying? But what we can do is saying, hey, if 25 people bring a friend, 25 becomes 50. And if 50 people bring a friend, 50 becomes 100. And that's really the ask. That's the call to action. That's the price of admission, right? Have someone come down. You'll have a laugh. You may feel emotions. You may shed a tear. You may have a moment. The fact is, we're just being real. That's just what it comes down to. But we cannot do this by ourselves. So I invite you to help us do this because, again, I can't beat the competition selling snake oil, right? I'm not that good a salesman. I don't like snakes and I don't like oils. So all I could do is be myself. And being able to create this space, it's also charging you all that, hey, you're a part of this. That's why we bring the chats up in the comments and we have this iterative conversation, unlike others. But we need your help because we can't do it by ourselves. That's the truth. And it's not a, hey, donate. Look, there'll be a time for donations or whatever the case may be. But the best thing someone can do is bring a vet. Bring a vet. Bring a friend. Because if you bring a vet, you bring a friend, you refer somebody in some shape, fashion, or form, that begins to grow our numbers. That gives us the ability to help more people. And everything else will fall into place. So that's the ask, I would say, into 2023. Tell someone. Don't be selfish. You enjoy the session, you enjoy this show, then tell somebody about it. Send them the video after the fact. Share our content. Because literally that's what it's all about. So those will be my closing arguments for that. I'm beyond grateful and excited to be able to do these things regardless of the highs and the lows that come with the process. And the fact that today I feel on top of the world, by tomorrow I feel like I should completely give up and shut it down because I failed at life. That's the life of dealing with the stuff that we deal with. But as long as we're not all down at the same time, it's a great day because tomorrow I might be down, but Vernon can pick me up. And then on Sunday when Amy's down, I'll kick her and bring her up. And then we'll go look for Reggie, who's out there growing up the calipater mustache. So, that's what I would say for that. As we begin to wrap, I'll kick it over to Amy to go ahead and give us some of her thoughts as we kind of close out 2022 and move into 2023.
Air Force is the best.
Oh Jesus Christ! I knew it was coming.
Thank you guys. Tonight was great. Thank you everybody for coming and joining us and holding space with us. And it's always a good time hanging out with you guys. I would say, holidays are not always the easiest for everybody. And, the heaviest thing to pick up is a phone. So don't hesitate to reach out to anybody or just be there for one another. And I think DP, he sort of touched on this earlier, but he posted just a brief thing in our group Slack about some real life stuff that's going on with several of our um, team members. And I feel very confident in saying that most people had no idea that those things are happening, and they really are happening to a lot of people. We don't often share those because when we're working, or we're all virtual, so we don't really see each other. We kind of do our own thing here and there. We get together for our meetings and stuff, but you just never know what somebody's going through, and what they could be facing. And so, be willing to give people grace. And I often say, like, when something crazy happens, or my kids say, "Oh, well, why did they do that?" Well, it was probably because I was driving crazy. I don't know. But I say, well, maybe they're just having a bad day. Hopefully they'll have a better day, right? Because you just never know what somebody's going through. And I use the paper bag analogy a lot, where if you were to write down all of your problems on a piece of paper and put it in a brown paper bag and put it in the middle of the table and grab a brown paper bag that's not
We should
yours.
definitely do that in Colorado. By the way,
Yeah.
that's definitely gonna
Um,
be a good team
yeah,
exercise. By the way,
it is a good team exercise, but so it was so weird because somebody that had lost their husband to pancreatic cancer very fast, very quickly. We were trying to say, like, how do you do it? You're so strong. And she told me the story, and she said if everybody was to write down their problems on a piece of paper, and you were to put them in a brown paper bag and put them in the center of the table, and you grabbed a brown paper bag that wasn't yours, chances are you would want yours back, because we just truly don't know what other people are going through. We really think we have it hard, or we really think, oh my God, another thing, or oh my God, I got this and I got that. But then we have no idea that somebody's fighting for their life. We have no idea what somebody's kid is going through, or that somebody's, going through a divorce. Like, you just don't know. So I think, being conscious and having grace and realizing, like, we're all human, and especially in this space, we're all veterans, is very important. And so, I think, DP again for holding space, to be able to do this for our veterans tonight. And, look forward to 2023, and that great things will come to all of us. And again, thank you so much. I think the next Friday Night Live, I think we're gonna maybe try to do it live in Colorado Springs, um, which will be fun. And Capri, and all, of course, thank you to everybody that's here. I haven't kept up with all of the comments, but we'll go back and read them later. But Capri, thank you so. You have no idea how much it made my night to see you here. So you have been missed, and you are thought about often, and you are talked about often, because you really brought a lot of laughter and love and fun to the team. And so I am very thankful that you were here, and I hope to see you more. And I see Rachel is on. Couldn't do this stuff without the back support of our admin people, or just the people that just come out just to support us, and just to say, like, hey, we're here, we're watching you. I'm very thankful to Carol. I know she was on earlier. I definitely couldn't do what I did without her, and Lisa, and Dennis, of course. Thank you for being here. Dennis is always here with us, and I hope that Brian has a speedy recovery. It's just not the same without him. Um, and so we definitely miss you, Brian. But thank you all for being here, and I'm glad Vernon was able to pop in as well. So it was a good night.
And
Air Force Air
oh,
Force is the best, and
there it
let's not
is.
win.
So a special shout out to Rachel. So the crew knows this, but Rachel is literally the has been with me the longest. When I started doing this by myself a long time ago, years ago at this point. So going all the way back, it was literally Rachel and me to a degree, just trying to figure out how to do this, and she was helping me, manage my schedule and phones, and literally patching people over to me when I had a full, now still an air marshal working at headquarters. I would literally take calls from clients on the way to work, and she would literally patch them through on my way back from work. So I literally knocked out calls on the way to work. Then on my lunch break, I would literally talk to more clients. And then on the rush hour home drive, Richelle would literally be on like three-way me clients as I was driving home from work. So she would take notes, and I would talk to people on the drive, and people wonder how the hell did I do two things at the same time, just like that. So being able to be where we're at now, it was a time where, like I said, it was just just the two of us, three of us with Jamil. So it's been a long, long road from that point to now. So I'm really grateful to Rachel, one of the strongest ladies that I know, who is the backbone of things that we do behind the scenes. So just a shout out to Rachel, and she was very instrumental in some of the work that that took place in the Philippines as well, feeding some of the families that were out there. So we were able to expand this third year to various locations, and be able to support and provide for families there as well as the things that we do here. So very grateful for her. So shout out to Rachel. And then Joe Cirillo says, "Don't stop, keep this thing going." Um, Reggie, over to you, my brother.
Wow. I have to say, our team, administration team, behind the scenes, they are phenomenal. I mean, they are phenomenal. Rochelle, Carol, KB, Chris, Mark, Lisa, um, all of them, are just awesome, just awesome. And we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them. I can tell you that, because they do things that because again, we veterans. I mean, we have our things we struggle with. Sometimes they step into places where we cannot step into because we're having a bad day or we're not having a good week. So I just want to say thank you on air to them, and really, really grateful for them. But to all our veterans out there, I would say take hold of this year. Take action. Don't just sit around. And I mean that. Take action. Because faith without works is dead. It goes hand in hand. It's a 50-50 relationship mutually to both of those. You can have the faith, oh, I know I can do it. I can think I can do it. It starts there. But then you got to take a step further doing the work. And we do the work, you become to a knowing that you're going to be able to achieve what you want to achieve in your life. So not only just with the benefit side of stuff, but just whatever things that you're trying to pursue in life. Even to the smallest things, if you try to make I don't know, work on that car at your house, or do something with your kid, or spend more time with your husband, spend more time with your wife. Those little things matter. So take the steps
Mm-hmm.
and be grateful. Simple as that.
100%. Oh, and also, a flash, news flash. We saw the news. Barbara Walters has passed.
Hmm.
Ooh.
Yep, Barbara Walters, 93, has passed. So that's current news that literally is just happening in real time. So a maverick and a trailblazer on so many fronts, a very historic life. And just again, that's a whole conversation unto itself, but literally a pillar of breaking ceilings, and pushing the envelope from the that side of media and reporting and documentary and all the things. Again, a very historic life, being in front of the camera for a very long time. So shout out to that, the memory of, again, the trailblazers that create the way for the things that we're able to do today. So rest in peace to her, and thinking of her family and those around her, because again, everybody knows Barbara. So there's that. Um, Vernon, over to you for your closing thoughts and prayer.
Well, again, I want to thank you. I want to thank you, DP, and Reggie, Amy, and our partner Brian. Uh, Brian is another one that you know he does a lot of stuff and wears a lot of hats in the background, and he's not much for talking, and he just operates in stealth mode. If I didn't know any better, I would swear he was Air Force in the way that he operates. You know, because
Yes, yes, yes. You are
I got
right.
to drink on this one. I got this one here.
he's very stealthy. You know, Uh,
Yes, he is.
Uh, uh,
He bleeds Air Force core values. He bleeds everything Air Force.
yeah, yeah. I mean, and unfortunately, put he and DP in the same room, and they're gonna be tied to this, gung ho army stuff, and I don't hold it against them. I really don't. I don't hold it against them. But I mean, we all know that given the opportunity, they would have worn blue. They would have worn blue, but they just didn't know any better.
They didn't know. You don't know what you don't know.
That's it,
You
Amy.
just don't know what you don't know.
So I have to say that 2022 was a great year. It was We uncovered a lot of things this year. As DP said, you know, uh, I just I remember talking when Amy made the introduction between DP and I. If I'm not mistaken, it was January
Mm-hmm.
of this year.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're coming up on a year for
Mm-hmm.
me, and it's been great. But I am so looking forward to the year 2023 because there was so much learned this year. There was so much learned about the team and how the team fits together and the things that we can do. And, you know, I never look at uh, things that didn't happen the way that we want them to happen. I never look at that as failures uh, because you have to go through some trying times in order to come out on the other side like pure gold.
Mm-hmm.
And so, what I will say is, in order for us to accomplish the things that we want to accomplish, we had to go through the things that we went through this year. And to whom much is given, much is required. And we've given a lot in 2023, but we planted seed. And if you ever want anything to grow, you've got to plant seed. You've got to nurture it, fertilize it, water it. All of those things are actions. We've created an environment of action, faith, belief. Those are action words to continue to have faith, to continue to believe in what we do. I can see all that foolishness, DP. That's fine.
I, I don't know what you're talking about.
Everyone to a man.
My bad. It updated the daggone Air
Oh, that's
Force,
okay,
Brian.
man. I mean, everyone to a man. If they could have worn the blue, like Amy and I did.
You see that? I even put a little arrow between Amy and Brian there. See a little love of the heart of Air Force. See, and
Yes,
then look at him
yes,
right here on the bottom. Doing his little
Brian,
thing.
yes.
Hey, and you know, you know that he will disavow this
Brian is
as
literally right
soon as
now
he's
tripping
well.
over his meds, trying to comment.
As soon as he's well, just as soon as he's well, he's going to disavow wishing that he was an Air Force person. We understand. We understand, Brian. It's okay. God loves people who wear
Brian's
the
not
army.
here, but we're definitely thinking about him. So that's why we have
Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
page up
He's our buddy. Bless his heart. We love him.
Brother
Uh,
Brian.
right there. All right, let me let Vernon get back to business.
well, I would just like to close us out on a short prayer and um, just really to give thanks and again I want to say DP, I thank you for giving us this opportunity to create a safe space for people. And we're looking at the numbers, and we want to see hundreds of people on Friday Night Lives. You know, and it's going to happen. Um, and we have to put things into action to make sure that they do happen. And that's something that we ask of the folks who are showing up now. uh, Talk to people. If this has been valuable to you at all tonight, then talk to people that who are veterans, who are hurting, who have already gotten their rating. Talk to those people. Give those people an opportunity to talk to their friends and family, and really, um, in the insurance sales world, we learned a long time ago that the best referral is one that we didn't have to pay for. We create opportunities on different platforms, but the best referral is it comes from someone who has received an increase as a result of us helping them. I talk to veterans because this, our team, helped me. So when I go out and I talk to somebody, I'm not talking about what I think. I'm not talking about what I heard. I'm talking about what I know. And I trust the members on this team with my life because you all helped to improve my life. And as someone said in one of the comments, no, it's not about the money because, quite frankly, it's much greater than that. DP mentioned that I'm a organ transplant recipient, and that is true. And for those of you who don't know this, I've not paid one dime in hospital bills. And last I checked on my EOBs, we're over $2 million now.
Mm.
Think about that now. Think about that.
Wow.
Over $2 million.
Mm.
So when someone says, thank you for your service, I'm saying, thank you that I was given an opportunity to serve. So, you think about the times that you were in places that you really didn't want to be. And the fact that you served in those places when you have the ability to receive something on the other end, it's worth its weight in gold. So we'll move on to a short prayer. And Father, we come before you tonight, thanking you for this opportunity that we've had. We thank you for the fellowship that we've had throughout this year of 2022. And we give you thanks for everything that we've encountered, the highs, the lows, the valleys, the peaks, the mountaintops. We thank you for all of it. But we're even more grateful for the opportunities that we see on the horizon. We thank you for allowing us to grow together, to learn together, to be able to touch lives both here and abroad. And we thank you for the vision and the visionaries. We thank you for our health, and we thank you for the health, the life, both spiritually and physically, of all of those who've been here tonight, who have participated. And Father, we thank you for all the things that you have given unto us and for giving us the ability to continue to serve. We thank you tonight. Amen.
Amen. And that is how we close out 22.
Yes.
Brian did comment and said, "Oh no, he's in the clouds," and his drool was causing issues for him to type back. So, so there's that part. Um, but yeah, here's to 2023 and having a whole lot of more good and amazingness that we've been able to enjoy, and we want you all to spend the time with us. So
Yes.
um, we appreciate the evening. For those again who are procrastinating, let me go ahead and pull this one up because apparently it's been fun on the TikTok side of the house. So let me see if it'll bring it over. Where is it? Dun, 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 dun. As we begin to wrap, but let us know. Again, make sure you reach out, follow, share the page as we do what we do, because again, we can't do this thing without any of you. So we appreciate y'all. It'll be a great 2023 as we endeavor to do some amazing things. So let me see if I can actually do. Oh, here we go. Let's go ahead and get rid of that. Boop. And let me see if I can go ahead and let me get that. Where is don't just the audio? So this is literally one of the videos that we've had over on the TikTok side of the house, and this is literally me looking at people procrastinating. So there's your little video moment of zen for that. So that's me. That's a little DP action there, looking at what people are waiting for. Emphasis on hashtag VA claims poppy. Vernon, you know what's crazy about this video? Let me take this daggone video. I put it just kind of messing around and let me go ahead and say something, whatever. And one day, 20,000 views and damn near over 250 comments on that video. I'm like, goodness gracious. People are like, stop screaming at me. I'm like, whoa, my bad. But there'll be more of that as we proceed. So on that note, let us wrap. Appreciate you all. We'll be back. Thanks for the comments. Thanks for what you do. Brian isn't here, but obviously he's always here with us in some shape, fashion, or form. Again, hoping that he gets better as we proceed. So we definitely miss having him with us. But while he is not here, we'll still wrap it up because this is the part where Brian gets his dance on. Abraham in the house. Yes. And Happy New Year to you, Glenn.